listening to the audio version, it came out a week after we did the video version. For those of you watching this on Facebook, welcome. Super excited to have everyone here. Super excited to be a part of this community. And here we are with Spideydude Experience, beginning the next chapters of Beyond. Chapters 9 and 10, we're about halfway through the 19-part saga. We've got just 3 months left. We're going to wrap up December's issues and then start on today's issue. Got some major announcements here a little bit later. Some teases for the upcoming year. 2022 will be our biggest year yet. I just feel it. 2021 was a great year for us, punctuated by last week's, or a couple weeks ago's, No Way Home review. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Of course, as I usually mention at the tops of these episodes, if you're an audio listener, these episodes are live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, coming soon to Twitch. And as a result, there's going to be some visual aids and some references to some live comments. Please disregard them, or simply come join the fun. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe. We're slowly but surely adding new subscribers every week, and we do appreciate it. Before we get too far into the episode, I do want to thank our Patreon subscribers. Vinkman, Jurgen, Scott, and Greg, thank you guys for your support. You can go check us out at our Patreon page at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Hopefully you are ready and willing, and I am so excited to have everybody here as I clicked the wrong button. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thank you guys for your participation, and I am so excited for this episode, because this episode, we're back, we're better than ever. We took a couple of weeks off. We are in episode 34 here on the Spideydude Experience. I'm your friendly neighborhood host, Zach Joyner, and of course, as always, I'm joined by
Jesus.
Yeetus Deletus.
Yeah.
The Yeetus Deletus himself. It is...
Oh, shit, I pressed the wrong button.
Yep, there you go. Yeetus Deletus himself, Neil Bogenreiter, host of the Bogenreiter Variety Hour. Welcome back, Bogenreiter.
It's me. Hi.
And coming soon will be Paul, but first up, we got Adam Beyond.
Hey,
what's
guys.
up, Adam? Our
Nothing.
California homeless man.
Yeah, I was making myself presentable so I don't look like a bum off the street, you know. So.
Look at me. What do you think of me when I come in here? I just
He
wander
just shows
in.
up.
Yeah. I don't put any
just
thought into
shows
my
up.
presentation.
So welcome back, Adam Shingle, to the show. Paul will be on here in a little bit. So if you like the show, be sure to give us happy. Matt Auger says happy 2022 to Zach and crew. Looking forward to the first show of the year. Happy New Year to everyone, to Adam and beyond. So yes, now so since we last recorded, a little movie we talked about last episode called No Way Home came out.
It's a very niche and obscure movie. I don't think anyone here has heard of it.
I don't think anybody has seen it. So I haven't looked.
Unlike the mega giant of Who Killed Captain Alex from Wakaliwood,
Yeah.
I'm sure no one has seen Spider-Man No Way Home. It's very niche.
Yeah, nobody has seen it at all. It's not like it's broken
Box
records.
office records across the world.
Last weekend, so the weekend that we're recording this, which is the first full weekend in January, over the New Year's weekend, No Way Home only made $56 million at the box office. It only made $5.9 million today. Spider-Man No Way Home, according to BoxOfficeMojo.com, as we mentioned with our review, had an opening of $260 million across 4,300 theaters. So it is international total, according to BoxOfficeMojo.com, $627 $1,428,198 in domestic gross. So that's the U.S. and Canada. International, which is everyone else, $759 million. 1.36 billion worldwide. An amazing, amazing feat. Just absolutely incredible numbers for No Way Home. Yeetus Deletus, what do you think about its domestic haul and its international haul?
I am disturbingly impressed. Unfortunately, what worries me is that both Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures will take away the exact wrong experience from this, or they take away the wrong lessons from this, and it will all just be nostalgia pandering. And remember this instead of actually progressing and doing something new and unique. I'm very happy for the film.
We did hear that with.
I think it's a good film. I'm just worried that Sony and Marvel are going to take away the wrong lesson from it.
Yeah, speaking of Sony, and this is not an April Fool's joke, according to Variety, it's Morbius, which was supposed to come out in 3 weeks on the 28th of January, has now been officially pushed back again for the 7th time.
More than New Mutants.
To April Fool's Day of this year.
Is that because this movie is a joke?
Yeah, this has been pushed back more than any... I don't know. So, we kind of did some speculating on...
privately, just because...
Uh-oh. Got some spinnies going on right now. Yeah, what did you think? Okay, so have you seen the film, Neil?
Yes. Yeah, I was
Speaking of what Vinkman said.
Hang on, can you hear me? Am I coming in okay?
Yeah. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I'd give it a B+.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Of course, this is when my internet would go die.
Okay, it's Transformers time. I'm start.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
I start screaming and take
pressing forward. I don't know where. Oh man, you got to be kidding me.
Hey Zach, you want to disconnect to reconnect, and I'll talk about No Way Home for a little bit.
There you go.
Oh, I think he just he got forced to
yes.
disconnect.
It's a yes.
Hang on, I'm gonna text Zach real quick, so I'm not sure if he can hear me.
So everybody can hear me. They just can't hear anybody else. Okay.
Okay. So, I thought that No Way Home was a very good movie. I think it kind of lacked in the cinematography department. That was probably its weakest angle.
I can see that, yeah.
The more I think about it, the less sense it makes.
Right.
But I think it had the strongest beginning to end of any of the Spider-Man movies by a long shot.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Bobby about it. I think Sony's being a bit full of themselves when they nominate No Way Home for every Oscar category. That's a bit bullshit. I'm just gonna say it right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of wish they had done a bit more with like the MCU stuff and not just like remember this. Like I know that the tree counts as the sixth member of the Sinister Six, but I think that they could have done a bit more. Like I want to see Scorpion or the Spot or Big Wheel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm hoping we get Scorpion next time.
Kind of been teased Scorpion. I think twice at least, right?
Yeah, I think now though is the time because, like I said on the review show, you have this Jonah who doesn't really seem that redeemable at all. So you
He's
really,
just Alex Jones.
yeah. So you kind of now you really play up the fact that okay, this is the guy who commissioned for Scorpion to be created,
Yeah, the Spider
and
Slayers and
Spider Slayers and all that stuff. I think now is the time for that.
But what was I? Sorry, I've got a chat log that I was talking about. But I think it helps that like I love Mysterio and Vulture.
Mhm.
But I kind of wish they'd been less connected to Tony. Like if they'd made like Damage Control just generic feds, I think that would have been a lot stronger for the narrative of the film because it doesn't feel like it's trying to play it both ways. Or like Tony's like this saintly figure that Peter looks up to, but also like this person who has humiliated and ruined the lives of like just regular people, even people who work for him. But and then like when they try to kill this kid, they try to kill this like 15-year-old child. They lose all of their sympathy.
That's yeah. That's a
like
nice
like I
way to
said,
put
the,
it,
the film, like I said, the film is stuck trying to have it both ways because they want to make the villains sympathetic, and then they also try to make Iron Man sympathetic, even though Iron Man kind of does literally everything wrong.
hmm
Like like
Wait, are we talking about Homecoming, or are we talking about
Homecoming.
What are we talking about?
We're talking.
Okay,
we're talking.
okay,
about
okay.
we're talking about kind of the MCU Spider-Man villains in general, though.
Oh, okay.
Like with Mysterio, like his pettiness at being humiliated is entertaining, but then he starts threatening people with his drones, and it becomes like really tonally inconsistent. Like there's a bunch of whiplash in how petty he is.
Yeah, you know, I, I get that, and I think I appreciated. I wish we would have gotten more of the how it affects Peter's life. I honestly felt like
They just kind of
'cause I've seen
brushed
it-
that off, and
yeah, because I've now watched it 3 times in the theater. I watched it. Went and watched it with Sarah over Christmas break, just as something for us to do. And she's like, "I'll go see it again." And then I saw it a third time with my dad and my daughter on over New Year's weekend. So I've seen this 3 times. The second time I got emotional.
I got
With the Aunt
emotional
May
first time.
I didn't get as emotional with the Aunt May scene the first time.
Now you kind of know what to expect, so yeah, it's like oh kinda hits a little different.
Like I got more emotional the second time with the Aunt May scene.
for me it wasn't like I actually like bawled at the end of Guardians 2 with Yondu's funeral.
Yeah,
But I didn't have that same emotional reaction. Maybe because Aunt May has been nothing but like a plot device and a sexually objectified person the entire time she's been on screen.
yeah. She had more of an arc in the second film. Obviously, the first Civil War and Homecoming, she wasn't. She was just kind of there. There wasn't much for Marissa Tomei, Oscar-winning actress, to do in the film.
It's sort of like Halle Berry and Catwoman, where like you know
Not to that level. I'm sorry, it's not that bad. But
no, but in the vein of like the similar problems coming to affect it.
yeah, I agree with that.
Where like you take this Oscar-winning actress and put her in an absolute dog shit role.
Well, and I thought she did. I thought she brought it in this one. Like she's Peter's conscience in this one. I felt like it was much better. You could feel the relationship more in this film, I think, than the previous 2 combined. I loved the Charlie Cox cameo. As I said in the review, I marked out. I straight marked out on it.
So Zach, what do you think real quick of No Way Home being like, you know how they do that for your consideration for the Oscars? Apparently they put No Way Home up for every Oscar, which is kind of just, I don't want to say pretentious, but
If there's ever going to be a comic book movie in a year where the field is certainly diminished in terms of
what came out that year?
what came out that year because of the amount of delays and the amount of things that were not only in box office but also were put on streaming. So I mean, the Academy's going to have to do some juggling. Sony
Watch as Black Widow gets like best editing. I'm gonna fucking shoot myself.
But you know, I mean, honestly, you know, to me, Sony has every right to do that, and I think that Shang-Chi should also be. I am of the belief that until there is a general audiences category at the Oscars,
That cape shit should be allowed to be dominated.
that yeah, like at what point do we? The problem that I have had with the Oscars is half the films that are nominated for Oscars nobody ever sees.
Well, that's not necessarily an indictment of their quality, though.
I'm not saying that, but there's a lot of artsy fartsy films that I just that me as a moviegoer I don't have a desire to go see. And you know, and how often has it been because of the Oscars that people go see these films? And then I think of times like Titanic or Lord of the Rings, you know, Return of the King, where they just killed it. Avatar, they were cultural zeitgeists, and that's where I feel like that this year with No Way Home, and I said this in the review, and I'll say it again. To me, it reminded me of the first Spider-Man film. The amount of hype, the amount of tapping into the consciousness of the people. After everything that we've gone through over the last 2 years, almost, this was the movie that everybody, Omicron be damned, went and saw.
Mm-hmm.
And
How much you want to bet they've tied Omicron surges to Spider-Man No Way Home?
It's possible.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, because like even when I went to Star Cinema and saw it this past weekend, it was about half full. Opening night was completely full, and we were at the or 3/4 of the way full, and we were the 11 o'clock show. I looked at the seating on the other shows. Every show opening night from 3 p.m. on was almost completely full, other than the very front rows, which are the worst seats.
Yeah.
But there was not a seat to be had other than maybe the very front row. That's why we went to the 11 p.m. show. So I get it. 100% get it. Everybody, the hype for this was met, and I applaud Sony for having the cojones to do it. It's been a very good year. It's crazy to me to think that this has been the best year of Sony's run since the mid-2000s. I mean, think about it. They're the number two production company in terms of worldwide sales. Only to Disney, who's bolstered by things like Fox and Searchlight and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Sony has Columbia TriStar, and that's it. And they, between Spider-Man No Way Home and, you know, Ghostbusters, Afterlife, you know, and Venom, you know, those 3 films alone are going to keep Sony well afloat. Now, 2 of those obviously are Spider-Man related. The other is Ghostbusters related. But, yeah, I mean, this was a very good year for Sony Pictures after a lot of bad years. And if anybody thinks that I don't care what Tom Holland says, if anybody
think that gravy
thinks
train stopping, you're a fucking moron.
no, the amount of cash that he's going to get the Brinks truck backed up to is he's going to get Downey money.
So my main worry for not for Tom Holland, but like with the rest of with his surrounding supporting cast is not only did they shoot themselves in the foot with the original supporting cast, like Flash Thompson was just kind of the mistake in the concept of making Flash Peter's intellectual rival alone is a mistake, but in the film he's just a dweeb who nobody really likes that much, aside from just he calls Peter Penis Parker. Like, wow, what upstanding comedy.
The handling of Flash in general was
like
bad.
I can't see this little shit going on to become Agent Venom. But not just Flash, but like, they did Betty. Actually, they kind of did a pretty good 180 from Betty, so I'll give them that. But
Betty again. You mean the Betty that looks like Gwen?
Yeah.
Which is an odd choice.
Like you can't go back from that, so you kind of got to write it. But like, the problem is that not only did they screw up the cast so that they can't really come back in the next trilogy or whatever they have planned, but now they have to create an entire new supporting cast from scratch. I think that's.
But I also think that if you do it right,
it can be done. Yeah,
you can. Think about it. Peter's college era. You've got Deb Whitman. You've got
Felicia. Probably they're going to do
Felicia, Dr. Connors. You can do a Mary Jane. You could do a MCU Gwen.
I'm wondering if they're gonna do they're gonna bring back Zendaya like in a time skip, like they're gonna do Zendaya with like the red hair. They're like, everyone's like, why didn't you just give her the red hair for MJ? Like you can say that like, she underwent like a growing experience or something off screen. It's not really that hard.
I mean anytime like my wife can tell you, anytime a woman colors her hair red, she's going through some things. That's what my wife says. Speaking of, she says, "Hi, friends."
Hi, Sarah. Anyways, so we're gonna talk about comic books, right? So, anyways, what do you guys think of the newest X-Men issue? Spider-Man actually makes a cameo in this issue.
He does. He does make a cameo in that issue. So if you have not picked that up,
here, you mind if I go through it real quick? I'm joking.
This is not the Bogan Rider Variety Hour. Bogan Rider. Bogan Rider Variety Hour is on twitch.tv/Quillsniv.
Yeah.
The red phase is so real. I'm telling you, if you color your hair red, you're going through some stuff.
I'm not jumping into this conversation. This is
what my wife says. This is what my ex-wife says. Like, this is something that women talk about, especially if they're not natural redheads. So,
okay.
Just saying. The more you know. Do. All right, so let's get into today's issue, or the next issues. So we're going to be covering the past 3 issues, which are...
it's ASM 82, 83, and 84.
82, 83, and 84. Thank you. Good Lord. I just had a absolute blank. All right, so 82, 83. Let's talk about it. It is... Neil, you're going to give us a recap of it right quick, and then we'll start talking.
Okay, so Amazing Spider-Man 882, or 82, Legacy number 883, written by Saladin Ahmed, art by Jorge Fornes, I think is how you pronounce the name, and Dan Brown is the colorist. So Peter's alive. He's awake now, too, which is kind of a big deal. So he meets his new roommate in his hospital room named Rico, and... Rico gets carted away, and he wheels off, and Peter goes back to. Peter gets seen by MJ. She comes to visit, and it hurts for him to stand up. So basically, he's useless for the entire issue as far as being able to fight. But they find out that Rico actually wasn't supposed to be moved, so. MJ kind of waves it off as a clerical error and lets Peter go back to sleep. Literally like 10 seconds later, after Peter goes to sleep, this serial killer-looking man comes into the room and says, "Hey, visiting hours are over." I gotta make him sound like a gamer. He looks like a gamer.
Visiting hours are over.
He's an unfortunate-looking person.
This looks the kind of guy you see on 4chan.
Yeah. On Cole.
No, this is like the guy who goes on Poll and B.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
But anyways, MJ says, hang on, it's not 8 o'clock yet. There are special circumstances. Sorry, terribly sorry. And so MJ leaves, and Peter wakes up to find another person in his in Rico's place. It was Mrs. Heroian, but anyways, Polak comes in and moves the lady away because she's supposed to be going home. And Peter's like, "Wait, hang on, there's been a mistake," and then he passes out.
Mm-hmm.
Then he wakes up and finds 4chan man up at his bed space, and he goes, "What the heck is going on?" And he has a pain spasm, and 4chan man says, "What a nosy young man you are." And he just stares at him for like 10 seconds, which is kind of weird, but oh well. And then he gives Peter like a double dosage of I guess painkillers, and as Peter falls asleep, he gets wheeled into what shouldn't be seen, level -2 of the hospital. I've actually never been inside of an actual hospital, so I can't say whether or not a negative level is a thing. Zach?
A what?
A negative level in a hospital, like a -2.
Um,
Adam, have you been to a hospital?
I mean, not in a while.
I mean, you could like sometimes there is. It just depends on the hospital.
Okay.
It does depend on the hospital.
Okay.
Because you have like a basement, and then you have like the sub basement, which is usually like the parking lot area. I remember like at my sister's hospital that she used to go to frequently in Dallas was like that. The basement was essentially the cafeteria, and then the sub basement was like the parking area. Vinkman has a question. How have you never been into a hospital?
I've been very lucky. I've been a good boy. I've never gotten injured that badly. And now we have the Russian bots coming in.
Oh,
Hello, Psychoblat.
okay.
I don't even know what that means.
Oh,
But anyways, 4chan man takes Peter down into level -2 and says, "You're such a curious young man. I'll show you my favorite place." And turns out he's taking Peter to his gamer pad, where he reveals his true form as a giant monster. And it turns out he's been eating people down there. That's disturbing. And the monster conveniently exposits his weakness to Peter, saying that the light is like wildfire to him. And MJ says, "Hey, here's the flash setting, motherfucker," and lights him on fire for 10 seconds.
Pretty bad.
we couldn't do without the F-bomb, could we?
No. Put the E rating on when you publish the episode.
I'm gonna have to change the setting on our freaking Apple podcast.
But Peter says, "MJ, I passed some lights," and MJ starts running away, and 4chan man starts chasing her. She uses a wrench to basically crush his fingers, and then she turns on the lights, and I guess he just explodes. So Chuck went up to MJ's kill count. She now has more kills than Peter does. I think. No, he kills Charlemagne.
Yeah.
Charlemagne. Yeah, never mind. So now she and Peter are even then.
He also inadvertently killed a bunch of terrorists that were trying to kill Dr. Doom and ASM 50, which would be ASM 571.
Well, that's direct kills. I'm talking about direct kills, though. Do we count Massacre?
Yeah, technically.
Well, yeah. Who knows? That's a question mark. The jury's out on that one still.
I'll have to
several
consult
years
with
later.
Bertoni. He did 1 year for Spider Jeopardy on Crawlspace. One of the categories was Spider-Man killed a guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to go back and listen to that episode because there was like enough for questions.
But anyways, now MJ has joined the chart of Marvel characters who seem like absolute cinnamon rolls but have killed a bitch. So Peter says, "My hero," and
This
passes
one's not
out.
for kids, folks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to like make this like
not for kids.
Damn it! Shit! All right, let's go. Keep going,
We'll do it live. Fuck it,
dude. I haven't isolated that audio yet, but I will.
But Peter passes out. He looks dehydrated as hell. And MJ says, "Someday, Peter Parker, you're going to learn how to rest. If you don't, it's going to kill you." Oh, that's pretty symbolic. I wonder if that's meta commentary. But anyways, in the end credit scene, Misty Knight and Colleen Wing are in the sewers, tracking their quarry, and they're talking about how Colleen crashed the car, and then they made another one, and she wants to wreck that one too. Until finally,
Oops, sorry.
I don't know what that was, but
That
anyways,
was a game show buzzer.
Suddenly the lizard.
To be continued.
Nothing came of it. It just ends on the lizard. There we go.
All right.
I guess we'll see him more later.
Bless you.
Thank you.
All right. So, Adam, beyond your thoughts.
Oh no.
Sarah.
Damn it, Sarah.
Jeez.
For audio listeners, she wrote in the comments, boats and hose, gotta get me my boats and hose, bitch. That's what I heard when Neil said it aggressively. Anyway, continue on, Adam.
Anyway,
Lakeman's also incredulous that Neil has never even visited family and friends when they've been in the hospital.
Okay, so the last time I was in the hospital was when my dad got like his wisdom teeth removed, but that was like 7 years ago. So you'll forgive me if I don't remember exactly how hospital elevators look.
I mean, you were what, 12?
15?
Okay, all right.
Because I'm 23 now. I'm 23 now, so.
All right, Adam. Sorry, we hijacked your. What's your grade
It's
on
all
this
good.
one?
Oh man, I don't know. I liked it, so I think I'll give it an A-. It's a quick and easy read, but the art is really, really good.
Right.
There's the art tells a great story, and I think Ahmed's writing isn't mind blowing, but it's solid, and I think he does a decent job, along with the art, of setting up this creepy atmosphere of this weird hospital man and missing people and just this weird monster mystery thing. I don't know. It's creepy, spooky, something different that we don't really get in ASM. And I like that Mary Jane is smart in it. She's like, she's like, she has questions, and when Peter gets wheeled away, she's basically right behind him and saves the day. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Actually, I forgot about the cliffhanger, and the cliffhanger is interesting. I wonder what they're going to do with the lizard later, because spoilers.
Oh, he's still separated from Dr. Connors.
Yeah, he
yeah,
is.
that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, so what are they going to do with him? That's interesting. Anyway, yeah, I like it. I think it's a pretty good issue for a one and done thing. I think, if anything, Ahmed has shown that he can do a really good one story issue thing that doesn't need to be a 3-parter or a trade.
He doesn't need to write for the trade.
Yeah, he does. He's very good at doing just a done in one thing that has a beginning, middle, and end, and maybe a little tease at the end for something else. But yeah, it's good. I liked it. I would be interested to see what he would do with the main title. I don't think it would be anything mind blowing, but I think that.
Well, I mean, like with him doing so. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't read Miles, and so I have no opinion on that. But I feel like I don't know. I think he could be interesting.
I think as far as the Beyond board goes, though, there's better choices.
Yeah,
he's definitely in the bottom half. For me, at least.
Yeah. Well.
But anyways, I'll give my grade if you want.
All right, Neil, your thoughts.
So I gave it a B+. I've just put up my. Don't mess with my grade, Zuck. So I thought this was a very effective one. Adam mostly kind of nailed down all my thoughts on this issue. I thought it was a good one and done. Jorge Fornes, I think, did a lot more of the storytelling than Ahmed did, which I think worked in the issue's favor. I am kind of glad, but also it's a double-edged sword that we spent a little time away from the Beyond Corp storyline, mainly because we're not doing anything with it. So it's like, let's have some fun while we're at it. And that's kind of a thing that happened in the last, and that'll happen in the next issue when we talk about that. But it was a very visual storyline. It was kind of weird just seeing MJ light someone up and then just watch them burn away and not really react to it that much. But I thought it was a really good issue. I thought it was a really good Peter and MJ mystery. It actually is pretty much exactly what's promised on the cover. Not in the exact same story beats, but they generally gets the premise across in a way that I think is satisfactory.
It makes it seem the cover makes it seem like someone's trying to assassinate Peter or something, which
like Peter's gonna like move around, like he's wall crawling on the so it's kind of weird. Hey Sarah.
So it's a bit of a curveball, but it's still you're right, it is still pretty much the
Sarah, you're live, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm taking over while Zach gets me a long sleeve shirt. That's a jacket. I need a shirt. I have a jacket downstairs. I'm currently, quarantining. In my own house. Away from my husband and my dogs.
That sucks. I got two people out of my job with COVID, so we're down like a quarter of our crew, so.
That sucks.
I had a 4-hour shift today, so that was nice.
I'm like freezing cold.
But anyway, Sarah, what did you think of the issue? What grade would you give it?
Well, I didn't read it, so, but just from what I'm hearing, I feel like I would probably give it like a B+.
Okay, so that's a pretty good place to leave it.
Just from what I'm hearing, I've been listening the whole time, so maybe a B+. But I'm also not super into the comics. I prefer movies because I'm lazy.
So Matt Bird says, I am not a Russian bot, but is ASM A82 Legacy 883 the issue done by the guy who created the stealth suit in an Spencer run? I have heard that given one is supposed to be top notch. Okay, I feel like he had a stroke while he was writing this, but no, he is not the person who made the stealth suit in Spencer's run. That was Dustin Weaver, I believe.
Thank you, Bankman. All right, I'm leaving. Goodbye, guys. Have fun.
Okay, bye, Sarah.
There you go. You can come out of your corner now. Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Love you.
All right.
So anyways, let's talk about Moon Knight.
no.
Okay.
So my thoughts on the issue, because I haven't given my thoughts.
What'd you think? What'd you think, Zacharino?
I felt like this was one of the stronger issues of the run so far. Certainly has the best cover. I love that cover for the main book.
It tells a great story.
It does. I like that the covers are not postery and they have something to do with the issue. Yeah. I really feel like that's something that has carried over from the Spencer run. For the most part, towards the end it was kind of not that way, but but I've enjoyed that element of having Neil Adams do the books.
Arthur Adams,
excuse me.
Arthur Adams, yeah.
And so I've enjoyed the covers to this run. Again, Peter being the focus is something that I've enjoyed.
It's weird because those issues have been the best ones of the entire run.
I agree.
or like the moments, or like the moments of Peter and MJ, and kind of I guess Felicia and Aunt May have been like the
Right.
standout moments of this run.
Yeah.
Okay,
And we'll kind of talk about that. We'll kind of talk about that in the next issue. So
Yeah.
let's see.
sorry, my wife is.
I can't breathe. Okay? If that says negative on that stupid PCR, I'm suing.
She's got every symptom right now. Oh, it's. Yeah.
Do we want to move on to the next issue since I think we kind of covered everything?
Yeah, no,
What grade did you give it, Zach?
I gave it a B plus for our audio listeners. Sorry, that is my grade. Again, I think the artwork was strong. I think the storytelling was good. I like that MJ had an active role in it, and you know,
Yeah, it's cool to see her being the action girl without like it being like an Iron Man thing.
yeah, I mean, we've seen that before. It reminded me quite a bit of that issue of Peter Parker Spider-Man during the Morbius saga, right after Clone Saga.
Yeah.
With where I think it's called "The Love of a Woman" was the name of the issue by Howard Mackey and John Romita Jr. And it gets to a point where Peter's been weakened because of a bite by Morbius, and MJ steps up and is like, "You're not going to hurt my husband," and stands up to this monster. And I felt like this was very similar. And so when that happens, to me, that really enhances the characterization of MJ. And I've really enjoyed how they've done it here thus far. I think that they've done a really good job. I also like the little thing with Felicia. Is that this issue or the next?
That's the next issue.
one.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It was a good Christmas present. It was a nice little noir horror story that we got. So that brings us to the next issue, which is
By my favorite boy.
Yeah.
ASM 83 Legacy numbering 884. Neil, you got the
Okay,
recap.
so ASM 884, but Patrick Gleason does both the writing and the art for this issue, accompanied by Nathan Fairburn and Maury Hollowell.
I thought his colors were good in the.
No, they're better than usual, but you can still tell that he's not good.
I need to get you and former panelist Brandon B-Dog, because B-Dog used to do coloring, and I would be very interested to see how you two would talk about colors. Maybe we'll do that one day. All right, continue on, Neil.
So, in Beyond Tower's penthouse infinity pool, Janine is having a nice soak in the water and is listening to Langston show the news off, talking about the Daily Bugle's talking about Spider-Man being a menace to crime, positive coverage of him by the media for once. And they drop a bit of exposition that Captain America is in town dedicating the new first responders wing over at McCarthy Medical Center, conveniently where Peter is. I wonder if that will have anything to do with later on in the issue. And Janine kind of has a moment to herself, realizing, as nice as the gym and the pool and this apartment is, she's kind of still in prison. I mean, granted, she's kind of a criminal, but, she's kind of realizing this isn't really all that it was cracked up to be. So after a credits page, Peter Parker is woken by his sassy nurse, who tells him that it's physical therapy day. And she kind of reminds him, your uncle taught you better than to just give up and to quit. And Peter gets two messages of a sort. The first is from MJ, a positive message about doing great in physical therapy. And then Felicia wrote on the ceiling, "I like watching you sleep." So, yeah, both are encouraging in ways, in totally different ways. And Peter, while he was on, I guess, morphine, I guess he got it from Iron Man. I don't know why the hospital would give it to him here. but he texted Aunt May in the middle of the night, and also bid a lot of money on eBay on a replica Spider-Man costume and web shooters, and I guess a Jameson bobblehead. But Peter's having like an internal crisis of health as his spider sense is going nuts, and eventually he just tells it to get out. And I guess he's rejecting his spider sense is the takeaway from this.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Spider-Man in his head kind of crashes into the ground, and his head splits open, and the Patrick Gleason's web head cover just walks out of his head and into the snow.
Yep.
So Peter calls the button and gets out and gets ready to do some work. But he kind of just runs up to a rooftop to have some coffee and do therapy his way. Web swinging, or I guess it's implied he's going to go like web swinging to kind of do his physical therapy. Okay, sorry. But anyways, Peter hears someone crying for help and runs into a parking garage and pulls on his mask to see some people carjacking him, or to see some people being carjacked. And they are the most obnoxious carjackers ever. They call each other Bay. Yeah. They're the Zoomer carjackers. I'll call them the Zoomers. For short. So the Zoomers get away in Donny Cates's Denver Bronco as Peter tries to chase them.
It's more like a Jeep Wrangler, but good try.
Yeah. So Peter tries to leap into action, but turns out it's only loaded with instead of web fluid, it's loaded with quotes from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies. Go web go. And Peter gets hit by Donny Cates's car and it crashes into a parking space. And they proceed to beat the absolute shit out of Peter. And Peter hears over the radio, 10-4, the captain is on it. And Peter thinks that Paul Blart Mall Cop is showing up to save the day. But he got a lot better than Paul Blart. He got Captain America. When Captain America throws his mighty shield. We'll get to that. So Peter is about to get shot, and I guess Captain America's shield is faster than a speeding bullet because it breaks the bullet in half. Yeah. But when Captain America yeets his mighty shield, Peter gets hit in the head with it. He basically suffers a massive concussion.
Yeah.
And Cap says, "I'm so sorry, kid. I just thought, usually duck when..." And I kind of like that note because it implies that, like, Cap and Peter have a history, and Cap is used to Peter kind of, having the speed to dodge it. It cuts back to a flashback when Peter got ill. He got a cold the same night that he stole the gum. Aunt May checks his fever, and they keep... Aunt May's really into, like, beating up Peter over stealing some gum. Like, Jesus Christ. Peter's playing with his Captain America action figure at the windowsill, and Pat Gleason's web head cover just stares at Peter through the window. Peter hides away from it, or baby Peter hides away from it, but Uncle Ben comes and gives him a little present, the gum he took from the bodega. And Uncle Ben gives him a little moralizing about how doing the right thing costs us all something, and that these lessons are kind of hard fought, and it's not easy to run away from doing the right thing just because it hurts. And Peter promises Uncle Ben to do better, I guess. This has the same energy as the "you gotta do better" Senator speech from Falcon and Winter Soldier. But going away from that, Peter, in the middle of the night, says, "Come on, Webhead. I know you're still there. I know you've got more Venom variants to sell me. I can take it." And what we'll call the sperm monster launches itself through Peter's window.
Let's not call it that. No. That's a no from me, dog.
That's a nah from me, Chief. But Peter gets consumed by the Webhead cover and tears it off as he becomes better. And Peter says never give up, and the issue ends with him pressing the call button to start physical therapy again. He says never, to be continued. So what was that? No, I didn't have a stroke, Neil, writing my last comment, but I am thinking of an upcoming issue by Paul Gleason. I mean, Patrick is supposed to be the true highlight of the series run.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh, I thought he was talking about, okay.
And the Zoomers, and then Radiac. Hello, Radiac.
Do we want to talk about Timeless really quick? Because there's not really a real spoiler. It's just Jed McKay kind of teasing MJ.
It was the first issue of Timeless.
Yeah,
it's the only issue of Timeless. It's a one shot.
Okay.
It's like Incoming was for 2019.
So
I guess so, yeah.
Marvel has historically done this, where they do like the .1 issue, where it introduced concepts and things like Kane as the Scarlet Spider. If you want more information on that,
I think it showed like Parker Industry, like they showed Parker Industries expanding in the .1 for All New All Different. I think.
The thing that's relevant is that maybe Ben goes Hollywood. And
no, I'm talking about All New All Different.
Oh,
yeah.
And then the .1 before that was the Kane as Scarlet Spider.
Yeah, they do like every 3 years or so.
Yeah, and so like this is kind of Timeless is kind of their next phase type thing. Apparently, the two big Spidey teases are that maybe Mary Jane gets spider powers,
or Mayday, or whoever,
or a redhead with spider powers.
I think that's. Type. I mean, to me, that reads as Mary Jane because long red hair, and it's the classic suit. So like,
or Annie Mae all grown up.
Yeah, but
either way. So something to take away from this is. One, Jed McKay said that not all of these events are going to pass.
Right.
Two, we have a Black Cat MJ one shot coming up, so I'm wondering if it's just teasing that. So again, keep your expectations tempered, people. This is not like
Yeah, I'm glad Paul's not here because you two got in an argument on the chat.
Yeah, like we got into like a serious argument.
But we almost got as big of an argument about Morbius's move.
I wasn't part of that one. That was other people.
But I will say that, yeah, I'm interested. Look, if this spins Ben off into his own series, I'm in.
Sensational Spider-Man, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Sensational would be. I mean, considering that was the title that Ben launched when he was Spider-Man. Yeah, I wouldn't hate him being in L.A. Radiac says what the Timeless thing I was referring to is what happens with Ben as his phase after Beyond is uncertain. He's going to be living in L.A. So, I'll say this. I firmly believe that everything that they're doing is to try to rebuild Ben's character after the amount of character assassination that we've seen.
In Clone Conspiracy and David's
in Clone Conspiracy and to a much lesser extent.
Well, that last issue that last issue was the character assassination I'm thinking of.
Oh well, that to me was basically a giant
editorial coming in and saying like,
no, yeah, I mean when you're the issue that and you can go back and listen to the episode of Clone Saga Chronicles where I talked about this. I think it was episode 72. You're building a story that Peter David starts, right? And you're adding all this stuff, right? And you get to the very end and you renege and you insult the reader by basically saying, psych, we've got to set up our next event. Ben's in it, so to hell with whatever you were writing. And so we're going to make an ending that doesn't make any sense. So we're going to have this massive heel turn to where you literally knocked Kane. It looked like you knocked Kane completely out. Then the event occurs, Spider-Geddon, and it has fuck all to do with the rest of what happened. The only thing that had anything to do with Ben Reilly's status quo was the fact he was in Vegas.
Was it Ock comes to recruit Kane, and then Ben just kind of tags along later?
Yes. Kane shows up miraculously healed.
I mean, Ben just kind of stabbed him in the wait.
No, he really did. He stabbed him. Like he took a piece
he took Kane's amputee girlfriend's like prosthetic arm and just jammed it into Kane's chest.
It into his chest. And there's no follow up to that. It just fucking happens. Like the hell is this? And again, my full thoughts on the network. I did a whole episode on Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider.
We did it on satellites.
I covered it on satellite. Oh, dude, I went on a full blown rant on Spider Satellites.
That was a good episode.
On Crawl Space. I hated the last 2 issues. I remember you liking this. I remember you liking 24. Oh yeah, no, I like. Yeah, you're right. There was 25 that I basically said this is bullshit, because it not only was it. I liked the writing of 24 because it was setting up to an interesting finale, and then basically it just completely
derailed at the end. Yeah.
Derailed at the very end, and I honestly don't blame Peter David for that.
It's kind of happened. It's kind of what happened with Gage's Superior run, where I liked what he did with it, but then it I liked the writing of it, but then it just derailed plot wise when Otto sends the Satan signal.
Yeah, well, exactly, and it's like in both cases, in both the Superior Spider-Man and in Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider, both derailed once Mephisto came along. It's like once Mephisto gets involvement with Spider-Man's world in general, shit goes sideways. Narratively,
quite possible.
Because a book is.
But anyways, do you want to talk about the book that we just talked about?
No. But no. Let's Adam go.
Adam.
Grade.
I'll give it an A.
Okay. Oops.
What did I write about this? I think, well, the thing is first of all, the art is just really good. Gleason does, as Paul would probably say, he has interesting layouts. He does really, and I think he does really interesting figurative stuff, like with the spider sense. That panel of the nuclear bomb going off in his eye is just...
Like the spider sense walking away is a really cool visual metaphor.
Yeah. He's just doing all this interesting, like... dream-like figurative stuff, and then the story is good. It's just Peter trying to get back into the groove, and it's not as easy as he thinks it's going to be because he doesn't have his spider sense because his spider sense is haywire because his body has basically turned against him because he's poisoned and all this stuff. I don't know. It's such an interesting character issue. Going into Peter's character and how you don't give up just because things are hard, and everything we see from all these characters, like just the little stuff like Black Cat, the message, Mary Jane, the message, Aunt May, the message, Uncle Ben's pep talk. It's just all spot on, and it just culminates into Peter. It's seemingly culminating in Peter just having this resolve to be Spider-Man again, more or less.
I think it was him resolving to not give. I mean, he even says it like, "I'm not going to give up this time."
Exactly. Yeah, and that so that means he's going to be. To me, it's like, he's going to be Spidey again. Like, this is obviously setting up his return as Spider-Man, but we know we're getting a
follow-up with Cap and Felicia. So
right, yeah, exactly.
This is a good job, not only being it self-contained, but also laying the groundwork down for other plot points that'll come up later on.
Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, I don't know, it's simple, but there's incredible work, incredible artwork, incredible character work. Um, and it just gets to the heart of Peter's character. So yeah, it's an A. It's a good first go at full writing from Gleason. Well, I
Like
think he might have
Gleason's
I think he
written
co-wrote
before.
yeah, I think he co-wrote stuff.
He wrote
with
one of the Red
Tomasi.
he wrote one of the Red Goblin one shot stories.
Well, this is good. This is a good Spider-Man single issue done in one thing. So, props to him.
Yeah, Neil, what's your grade?
I'm also giving it an A. I think this was a great. I'm reading X-Men while I'm listening to Adam. But I think this was a really
This
good.
is not an X-Men podcast.
I
Neil.
know. I'm catching up on the stuff I read today.
All right.
But I think this is a really good issue from Gleason. I think actually the interesting thing is that I think that the most interesting stuff from Gleason is the stuff we don't really see, like Peter on drugs and Felicia's weird psychopath ex-lover writing on the wall. Like that's kind of weird. I think like that kind of stuff is like the most interesting stuff. Like what we have is cool, but then there's also this other stuff there that we kind of don't get the full picture of, and I think that's kind of interesting. The stuff with Janine at the beginning was kind of weird, and I get what they're setting up with it, but it felt kind of disconnected from the rest of the main story, and that's kind of what knocked my grade back a bit. Hollowell's colors are a bit rough for me. Like I said, like Adam said at the beginning, they're a lot better than they were back during ASM under Spencer.
Right. Yeah.
But it still feels like he pales in comparison to someone like Nathan Fairburn, whose colors in the flashback scenes, and I think he also does the beginning monologue or the beginning exposition dump where Peter's in his little hellscape and rejects his spider sense. I think is where Fairburn does it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that those colors are infinitely better. I don't think Hollowell is like horrible. I just kind of wish was it Marcio Menez who was the colorist for the first Gleason arc, or for the first Gleason story?
I think so.
Yeah, I kind of wish he'd been back for this one. And I'll take what I can get. We got a really good Act 2 thumbnail poster. So
Yeah.
I honestly I think Adam keeps kind of covering all of the same beats that I do. But yeah, I think this is a really great issue. I think if Gleason did a co-write, like what he did with Tomasi at DC when he was doing Batman and Robin and Superman, I think if like we took Ziegler and Gleason and put them together as co-writers, I think we'd probably get something really good if we made those two like the main writers.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, and I too am giving this an A. To me, this is Gleason writing and drawing. I think is really good.
I think it also contributed to a stronger sense of flow.
Agreed.
Because he was working from his own notes, so he knows what he's working with.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he would be able to produce more issues knowing that he's writing his own stuff. This story arc, I'm going to say this, is far more tighter and more organized than Brand New Day. A lot of the worries, we're at the halfway point here, more or less.
And the
with
plot
this
hasn't
issue.
progressed at all.
It's done a lot of world building. I feel like now since we're at the halfway point, we're going to start getting more answers, and it's going to be a breakneck speed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you, the tone and tenor is not nearly as choppy as I thought it was going to be. Because it's not trying to dump as much stuff as Brand New Day did. I think it's stripping everything down to its studs and then slowly building. I get what you're saying, Neil. There needs to be more progression with the story overall.
I think
But
internally it also needs I think it's more of an internal problem. Like we've seen the plot progressing, like Ben slowly kind of realizing Beyond Corp's not what it's all hacked up to be. But like I think in terms of like progression, like the most we've seen is like the Misty Knight and Colleen stuff with Obsidian Star. That was, I think, the biggest progression of that plot point.
I agree. And I think that starting with next issue, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But I think this was an important kind of side quest because you needed to check on Peter. And now I feel like we're getting to a point where we're getting progression with Peter. And it's not just been, putting Peter off to the side.
And it's also not just dumping on Peter. Like Peter definitely screws up and he falls down a lot in this issue, but it never feels like a mean-spirited falling down like it did in Brand New Day.
Right.
Where his misery was the source of comedy.
He doesn't feel like a doofus. And it's not played up for laughs. It's not being written as a dramedy. He has a
bit of goofiness, like with the nurse, but his doofus,
right.
but his being a doofus feels more like affable and he seems liked instead of like absolutely despised by everybody around him, and I think that's the major.
The one of the problems with Brand New Day is that Peter Parker was treated with contempt by the world around him. That's not Peter. Peter's not treated with contempt. He's treated with a little respect, but just it's more frustration in that he can't seem to balance all the scales. He can't relax. He can't rest. Yeah. And I think that there's a lot of getting into the psyche of Peter in this issue that I really appreciated. This manifestation of the spider sense was really something that I think is a very neat and interesting concept, and it kind of takes the totem aspect of Peter and the web of life part of Peter that we've seen over the last decade or so, or 15 years or so. Oh God, almost 20 years since the JMS run. The JMS run's 20 years old. The start of it's 20 years old this year. All right. God, I feel old.
Last year, technically.
Oh yeah, it started in 01. Oh,
yep.
Oh, ooh, wow.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the JMS run started in 2001.
Yeah, the start of it's 20 years old already.
Because the end of the Mackie run was the 2001 annual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, it's 20. It's only 21. I'm wrong.
Yeah,
sorry.
Now it's 21 years old. But the start of the JMS run, not
the JMS run can legally drink now.
Yes.
But it probably got some good. It probably got some cheap kegs at parties. So.
Yeah. Well, next year will be the 25th anniversary of Spideydude and Crawl Space.
But yeah, I think the consensus is that like this middle portion of ASM has actually been really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I think it took us a while to get there. I think Ziegler and Gleason have been the
standouts. Yeah,
standouts. Kelly Thompson has probably been my biggest disappointment, along with Zeb Wells, just because Zeb's not done anything. Like he did the first issue, and hasn't done anything since.
I think he's doing like the last issue. The last issues.
Yeah. He's. I think he's solicited for the last ones or close to the last ones.
I think just 93.
So he did the first and the last issue, and then we had four other different writers do the 18 middle issues, including Jed McKay doing an issue in there as well. A couple of one shots. So we need to go back and we need to add up how many issues total this run's going to be. But, yeah, I think. God, I don't know. I gotta block that Russian bot. The first time we've ever had a Russian bot on the show, like live at least. I've seen him on the post game. But no, I thought this issue was really well done. I'm excited for it. So I'm in. I'm in like Flynn. So sorry, I'm seeing if Paul's going to jump in here.
Do you want to start on 84?
Yeah, I mean we can start on 84.
There's more than one. Oh, there's
Oh,
more.
yeah,
than
no,
just
there's more than one.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with the Russian bots, Vervinkman. That's really weird. Time sure flies, Radiac says. My first issue was ASM 542 back in Black Kingpin fight, and I still feel like a new reader. So
I'm not sure whether or not that's good that Marvel still makes you feel like you're getting into it for the first time, or if it's bad that like it feels like we're never going anywhere.
that the last time we had some significant character progression, we had, so
Back in, we almost had Aunt May die.
Isn't it crazy that one of the worst Spider-Man stories in comics ended up being one of the better Spider-Man movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, One Moment in Time, the movie.
Like, the fact that they turned Omit a absolute
Shit show of a story
Shit
that's meant to be,
sandwich.
that was meant to be damage control for an arguably even worse story.
But yeah, it was supposed to be the apology for a story that.
I don't say apology. I think more like doubling down on it.
Oh yeah, it was basically Quesada saying, yeah.
Okay. So, anyways,
And to answer that question, Radiac says, everything happens and nothing changes. So
what's happened in the last 20 years? Everything, nothing.
everything and nothing. All right, so
That's
Neil,
poetic. That's pretty deep. I'm 14 and this is deep.
All right, so Neil, give us the rundown of the final issue of the episode.
All right, so Amazing Spider-Man number 84, legacy number 885. Side note, real quick before we start, I think it's impressive that we've gone this long without a relaunch. It's been almost 4 years, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've liked it, and I listen. If
I think
they
it's
went
coming,
back
though.
to me, if they go back to legacy numbering with 900, I will not complain.
Like if they do
I
a new
will
number one,
not-
but they keep the dual numbering.
I'm fine with that. Like.
Well, yeah, they
Even
shouldn't
if
get
they-
rid of the legacy numbering.
The legacy numbering, no, screw the relaunches. Just make it the legacy numbering at this
Just
point.
make it 900, like what they did with back in 2017 with Legacy.
Well, basically what they did with Action and with Detective.
film.
Like just once they hit 1,000, that's it. Just make it those that's the issue number. Like, quit
Right.
confusing the listener, the viewer. Just keep it simple, stupid. To me, there should be 5 titles that should have legacy numbering. Period. In the Marvel pantheon: Fantastic Four, Amazing Spider-Man, Avengers, Captain America, and Iron Man.
Well, Iron Man, they cheated on legacy numbering, so
Yeah, well, they cheated on legacy numbering with Spider-Man too.
that's true.
By making Renew Your Vows
Count, yeah.
count and Superior count.
And I think like those
Well, the
0.1
title
issues from
wasn't-
700.
Title wasn't being published though at the time. Technically, ASM wasn't.
Well, they also
Like,
counted
those were the
Superior. They also
villains.
counted Superior, I think.
They
Yeah.
counted
Well,
Superior
yeah,
and they
no, they
counted Renew
did.
Your Vows.
They had it both ways with Superior. Like they had it count for Amazing, but also its own title. That was weird. Anyways,
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's kind of like how, what was it, Journey into Mystery counts as part of Thor's numbering, but like.
But then back when Catherine Immonen took over the title with Sif as the lead, like that was its own legacy. It had its own legacy numbering. That was
Yeah,
weird.
which makes no sense. Again, Marvel's numbering, it's like people are drunk. But like I say, I mean, the titles like FF, Spider-Man, Cap, like those are specific, and Avengers, Iron Man. You could probably name 10 that should
Well,
have
it's
the
funny
legacy
'cause
numbering.
It's funny because Cap, I think, was Tales of Suspense, and then
That's true.
when it went to 100, they renamed it to Cap, and then Iron Man got his own, I think, number
Yeah,
one or something.
Cap's numbering history is weird because you have the original,
timely stuff.
the timely stuff, and then Tales of Suspense is what gets
Followed
renamed to
up,
Captain
yeah.
America. It's same thing with Journey into Mystery. It's all a little weird, but
And
I would
Tales
be
to
fine.
Astonish also was weird.
Yeah, it's one of those things that
I think don't they count down like Ant-Man's legacy numbering too?
I think so,
I'm
maybe.
pretty sure. Which
That was his
that part
title, I
I'm fine
think,
with
so.
because that was his title.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, yes, there was stuff, but once they introduced Ant-Man, that was his book. Because, again, for those that don't know, in the publishing history, there was only like 10 titles that they could publish at a time, and Marvel's publishing was very limited on the amount of titles. The titles
they didn't have like the printing capacity that they do now, where they can publish like 105 titles at once.
Well, they also didn't own. They also were third partying the publishing division. And I remember at one time, I think they were so broke that they were using DC's publishing division, the same company as DC, to do their publishing. And so that's why they were limited on like 12. They could have the maximum of 12 titles. That's one of the reasons that Amazing Fantasy got canceled, despite the massive sales success of Amazing Fantasy 15.
But anyways, we're gonna talk about Spider-Man. In spite of our attempts to talk about X-Men and everybody else, we're gonna talk about Spider-Man. So also, do we want to talk about Hickman and Bachalo rumors later? We'll talk about them later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because we'll do the swag call, and then we'll do once Paul jumps on, we'll have him do his review, and then I'll talk about what we got for Christmas, blah blah blah, and then we'll do the solicitations because they came out whenever we were away.
On break. Yeah.
Yep.
So, anyways, ASM 84, Legacy number 885, written by Cody Ziegler, Best Boy, with art by newcomer
Biggest surprise.
With newcomer Paco Medina and colors by Espen Grunderjern.
So good.
Sounds Nordic. But at Beyond Branch C47, is that a reference to something? That sounds oddly specific. We'll think of it later if you can let me know. But anyways, Turtle Man, Brandon, is reminiscing to his coworker about his acid trip with Spider-Man back in the Kraven arc. He says Spider-Man is my friend, and the other guy goes, uh-huh. But anyways, some random dweeb comes up to them, and with him is Otto Octavius, who reveals himself and shows his arms as he grabs his coffee. I
swear to God, if we don't get an Armani-suited Marvel Legend,
we will
soon,
riot.
I will riot, because God, that looks so good.
With a coffee cup accessory.
Yes. Of Evil Genius, like from Spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or this one, because this guy, he just steals someone's coffee. Of all the evil things he's done, that's the pettiest, and unironically, that's my favorite Otto moment of this book. But anyways, Otto starts tearing through the office, and we cut to Peter supposedly having a flashback to Uncle Ben's face being carved out by Beyond Corporation. But Peter keeps remembering, and he tries hard, and he sees Uncle Ben's face looking disappointed and being let down. And it turns out it's actually Ben, which actually recontextualizes ASM 75, because you remember this exact vision was in ASM 75, and we assumed it was Peter. But it turns out that it's actually Ben. And Ashley Kafka is using the Sonic the Hedgehog ring to restore his memories to their proper state. Peter gets ready to throw Dr. Kafka out the window, but remembers, oh, wait, I'm going to get laid tonight. So instead, he goes to get dressed with Janine. And it turns out they got a pretty good domestic life. You know, they have a nice house, a nice apartment, nice clothes, and a self-driving car that, unlike Tesla's, do not crash and set on fire when the moon is out of alignment.
And it's not just like any old self-driving car.
It looks like a Rolls Royce.
It looks like a Bentley Rolls Royce. Like, yeah. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, so Ben and Janine are talking about how they're about how Beyond Corp is kind of tying him down, but also letting him do some real good. And before Ben can get some, Witch TikTok hexes the moon and makes Marcus call Ben at the last minute, talking about how Dr. Octopus is breaking into a Beyond Corp facility, and Ben is needed right away to deal with him. So Ben suits up and webs away. Cut back to Otto Octavius, who is basically terrorizing all the Beyond employees. and he breaks into a vault that has a remote. Is it a remote control? It's the remote control from Click.
Jeez.
But as Otto moves towards his prize, Spider-Man
The
kicks
way
Adam.
it's drawn, it looks like it's like a battery pack
It's
from.
like an iPhone.
Looks like the MagSafe.
Oh, like the
MagSafe.
Apple, yeah, like the MagSafes from that Apple sell now.
Yeah, the MagSafe battery pack that you can attach to your iPhone 12 and 13. That's what it looks like with the circle and the line.
Yeah, so Peter
Why isn't
kicks
Ben
Adam.
doing anything?
What?
Why isn't Ben doing anything? I'm gonna need you to put that back. He just lets him do it. What is he doing?
We'll talk about that later. But Ben kicks Adam Sandler in the head and catches up with classic Doug. Glad to see you're not tripping anymore, man. But Ben starts fighting Otto, and Otto uses some lasers to cut through Ben's webbing. I'm admittedly not that familiar with Doc Ock's specific tech. Has he ever had lasers in his?
He's had all sorts of
weird shit.
He's
in
had
there.
all sorts of crap. Yeah,
I'm just trying to. I
no,
just don't remember. The lasers just eluded me for a second.
I mean, maybe not, but who cares? I think his arms have always had. At some point, his arms have probably had some weird gadget or another there, whenever the artist or writer wants.
So Ben takes some distance. Ben makes some distance between him and Otto, and as Otto begins to close in on Ben, his erectile dysfunction kicks in and his tentacles shut off. Turns out it's actually not ED, but an anti-Ock tool that weapons division made to take him out specifically. So Otto just starts stripping and just walks the complete. Ben's like, "Get out of the room," and Otto goes the exact opposite way. And this has very superior Spider-Man number 31 energy, where Peter just lets Norman walk away. Or no, it was Miguel, because Peter at least had the excuse of a spider sense jammer. Miguel just let him walk away.
He just bails and he goes into the sewer or something.
Yeah, he's not even running. He just walks. But Otto just grabs the remote and begins turning back time. It's just like in Click. But
if I could turn back time.
Ben spider sense goes off and Otto begins shooting him with rubber bullets. I would like to remind people that just because they're rubber bullets does not mean that you can just shoot them at a person. You have to shoot them at the floor so that they angle and create less impact because they lose momentum when they hit a surface. So that's how you use rubber bullets.
Yeah, but Doc's
no one remembers
also a dick, and he wouldn't care. Come on, Otto would be like, I know how this is supposed to work, but
I'm gonna be an asshole.
I'm going to be a dick, okay? When has Otto not, other than to Aunt May, when has he, and Anna Maria Marconi,
his horny sweat, when is he? That's when his horny sweats kick in. That's the only time he's ever a nice person. But
the blood rushes away from one head to the other.
McNulty is in the chat saying, "Yeah, I'm sorry, but Ben failing to web up Doc Ock after disabling his tentacles is just amateur hour." But
weird.
To be honest, though, this
reaction to that is just so weird.
I do have a point for that I will bring up here in a minute. But go on.
So, after getting red hooded, Ben tears out the rubber bullet gun, only to get hit with Sonics because I guess they're expecting Venom or something. I don't know, and then gets living lasered, and then Sonic'd again. Basically, Ben jobs out once again. And Otto says that was merely a prelude. I pray for your master's sake they hire someone better equipped when I return. And one ad for Sabretooth number 1 later, Ben wakes up in the Beyond Corporation med bay to Marcus trying to basically run damage control for him. And also Maxine Danger is there wearing a very snazzy blue top and white trench coat. I think that's actually probably my favorite look that she's worn so far.
Right.
But Maxine's basically giving Ben the rundown that she's really disappointed in him and says, yeah, you're becoming a liability, so get your shit together and fix the situation now. And even Marcus is like, yeah, even I'm not that mean. But at Beyond HQ across town, in the lobby, Lewis, the I guess, what is it, the secretary? Or the receptionist? Concierge.
The receptionist. Yeah.
Concierge is letting people in after lunch, and a cloaked figure says, "I'm here to see Maxine Danger." "I'm sorry, sir. I don't see any scheduled visits for Mrs. Danger today. Or Miss Danger today." "That's not a problem, my dear boy." And it's Otto Octavius wearing his Sam Raimi Alfred Molina costume.
I was about to bring
because
that up.
because synergy. This visit is something of a surprise. To be continued. Dun dun dun.
All right, that there, just for a little.
Okay, there we go.
All right,
All right.
that's my favorite effect.
So I'll start. You mind if I do my grade first this time?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I think that's consensus. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll give it an A minus. I don't think it was on the same level as 83, but it did a good job of both progressing the plot, which is something that has been sorely needed for the last couple of issues. I think it's the only one this issue that progressed the plot meaningfully. That wasn't like a Peter side quest issue. I think it did a good job of showing Ben kind of going at it, getting a bit fed up with Beyond Corp and interrupting his time with Janine. Did a good job of showing Otto as a threat, even if it came at the expense of Ben becoming a total jobber, which was something that I got very aggravated by. Paco Medina. I can't say enough about how great Paco Medina's art is in this issue.
Oh yeah.
I've mentioned before, and I think it was in the group chat, that if the art team was Gleason and Medina, I'd be totally okay with that, especially with this colorist.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen an issue colored by this guy, but I want more of it. It looks so clean and saturated.
Yeah, it does.
Very good pastels. I feel like they're kind of leaning a bit too much into the Beyond stuff, like the Beyond being based off of Parker Industries stuff, because it's just a reason for Otto to come in and job Ben again. And it kind of leads into the trend of Ben just losing to every single villain he fights that isn't a carjacker.
Yeah, or at least he loses the first time and then
bounces back for round 2.
Yeah.
So that on that note, and where I kind of have to defend Ben here.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
What?
Of course you're defending them.
As my wife comes in here to interrupt me as I was making a point. Hello, honey. So when I'm with Ben, this is his first time facing Otto ever, not including his time of his memories as Peter. So
True.
He's very inexperienced, and if we're to believe that Ben's brains got scrambled with the 27 deaths and returns,
with the Sonic the Hedgehog ring that Kafka's using on him.
Right.
yeah, to try to piece his
fixed him a
psyche
bit.
back together. So if you look at it from that standpoint, yes, Ben is experienced, but he's not experienced because he doesn't have that extensive knowledge of fighting Otto the way Peter does. Think about how many appearances that Otto had prior to ASM 120 or 149. That there's only a handful, as opposed to Otto versus Peter, who has all this wealth of knowledge and history. Because if you recall, Otto was offed during the Clone Saga prior to Ben ever interacting with him, and wasn't resurrected until after the Clone Saga was up. So because
I don't think he even fought Ock during Clone Saga, did he?
No,
Or Clone Clone Conspiracy, I meant, as a Jackal.
He never fought him as the Jackal because, again, Otto was Superior Spider-Man.
No, he was back to being Dr. Octopus during Clone Conspiracy.
Yeah, he came back for like 5
seconds.
minutes as classic Otto, and then went back to his
Superior Octopus.
because that's when he downloaded his brain into like
A Parker Otto hybrid that looked like a neo-Nazi
yeah, well,
and teamed up with Hydra.
Yeah, well, it was like that was when he downloaded his consciousness on like the ultimate clone type thing during Clone Conspiracy,
Yeah.
so they didn't really fight.
Didn't he
there.
steal that plot point from Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon?
I don't even
know.
remember. The last season and a half
Was absolutely batshit insane.
of USM. I don't think I've seen all the episodes, and I kind of was going in and out with that. So that's where I'm like, they didn't have a real proper fight during Clone Conspiracy era. And
Yeah, to bring up
then,
what McNulty's saying.
Right.
Ben, I think he did like I should have known you'd turn on me, Otto, and then he like runs away.
or no, I think he like melted his ass, if I'm remembering right. Like he activated the clone degeneration thing and basically just offed Otto. Or Otto was starting to like regress, because remember the whole thing was like,
oh yeah, Ben was keeping them on I almost said Xanax, but
yeah, like the pills, they had to take the daily pill, like they had
Right,
everybody,
yeah.
Zombified, had to go walk up and
oh
get
yeah,
in a
he got like
single
they got like
file
a,
line
they
and
got like carrion they got like carrion virus or something.
oh no, my wife's fever has spiked.
Okay, you want to go take care of her for a second, Adam? And I
No,
can go dance?
I'll go. Yeah,
Yeah,
So
go
give
check,
your thoughts.
Go check.
I
on
need
her
to go
real
check my wife. I'll be right back.
And Mike also said that for an evil high-tech corporation, Beyond has the worst security, considering Otto just strolled into their offices not once, but so if I recall correctly,
This
in 80
man.
dot bay, it was in 80 dot bay, right, where he first broke in. I don't think he strolled in. I think he literally tore through the first Beyond Corp office.
Mm-hmm.
This time he like infiltrated through like being an old man in an Armani suit. So
Right.
I'll give them that. I don't think Beyond is like that incompetent, because it's not like Otto just walked in. Oh wait, I think he's talking about the second time in the second time in this issue, I think. I don't think he's talking about 80 dot bay. I think he's talking about both of them.
Actually, yeah. I think he's talking about the office thing, like you
Mike,
just
you're in the
said.
chat. Let us know what you're talking about.
And now he's talking about at the end here where he looks even more conspicuous.
Yeah, where he looks like a evil supervillain.
Yeah.
He literally looks like in Sam Raimi when like he robs the bank.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking when I saw it. I actually
Radiax
they were going to do that.
Radiax says in the chat, also I feel like I have to read Next Wave and Mighty Avengers to get some sort of payoff with Beyond the more this arc goes. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. Please read at least Next Wave. Mighty Avengers has a bit more expanding on the Next Wave stuff, but Next Wave is stuff that establishes the Beyond Corporation and shows what they're capable of and why Monica is so invested in them.
Which, you know what I found out today is that I guess Nick Lowe was an editor on that Next Wave, Agents of Hate by Ellis.
And yeah, Ellis and Eminem did that, yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
So that might be why he's so invested in this Beyond Corp storyline.
Yeah,
I think wasn't he also editor for Captain America and the Mighty Avengers?
I'm not sure actually.
Let me check.
But I was looking at what he's editing lately, because there was talk of, well, if this is possibly Lowe's last thing as an editor, who would replace him? And I wanted to see like what's everything he's overseeing right now, because a name that was brought up is someone who basically just came on the editing team, and I was thinking, well, if Lowe leaves at least the Spidey books, they're not going to give that gig to someone who just became an assistant editor on the title. So
I don't know. Nick Lowe was pretty new when they made him editor for the line.
Well, he was already doing X-Men, though, wasn't he? I thought he was the editor for X-Men.
Was he?
Before
Okay.
he was the... Well, I don't know. That's what I heard. It's like someone in the chat, if anyone knows...
he also did Guardians of the Galaxy, so... It's not like Nick Lowe wasn't doing anything, but...
well, no, yeah.
Is the person who's assistant editing him, like, brand new? Hang on.
He's got two assistant... There are two assistant editors on ASM right now. And I think
Lindsay Cohick and Caden McGahee.
One of them... One or both, I think it's just one of them has basically just joined this arc. And actually, yeah, one of them just joined for Beyond, and I think that may be the only editing work they've done, but I'm not
So,
sure. I haven't looked into it.
It
that
looks
much.
like it looks like. So I'm looking at Lindsay Cohick's Twitter. So it says that she's edited Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, or she's currently editing Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Black Cat, Silk, and Demon Days. So
That's
probably
pretty-
around 2019 when she joined as the assistant editor.
That's a good workload.
Yeah. So I think that and then Mike says, yeah, at the beginning was one thing,
I think it's the other one.
but Doc Ock walking through Corporate HQ 2 was like, really, he didn't notice the obvious supervillain. Yeah, I'm a little surprised that like they don't have like facial recognition tech, especially considering like every government entity as well as most private security firms have.
Oh,
facial
okay,
recognition.
but like this is a narrative thing. Like this was the big dramatic like final bit of the issue. Like
We kind of have to like suspend our
in
disbelief
fairness,
a little bit.
and in fairness, this is the ground floors, so it's not like he's like 80 floors up before he reveals himself this time.
Right.
So he's just coming in the front lobby and goes, "Hey, fuck you, give me your stuff."
and it probably was one of those things where he's the guy at the reception or the front desk is going, the hell? Like, yes, McNulty, I get it. He's wearing a trench coat and hat. He's doing his best Donatello impression. I understand that. Like, I get it.
He's going
Like,
down to the sewers, shred some boards and eat some pizza.
Exactly. Like you know, I mean, he's doing his best Donatello impression, you know, because he watched he watched the Sam Raimi film and then he, you know, binged it with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But like, come on. I understand what you're saying, but narratively speaking, this is a guy that has 4 extra metal arms. I think we can suspend our disbelief slightly enough to where you can, you know, take that on. I mean,
what's the phrase? Peter's the leader in blue. Otto is a fellow, has his way with machines.
Yeah.
So, is for Otter to walk in.
That's what I'm talking about, Radiac. That's what I was saying, Radiac. Is like in a post 9/11 world, like where everyone has facial recognition, especially beyond because they know Otto just broke into their other office.
But maybe here's my other alternative.
Oh, does the Adam Sandler click remote like remove him from facial recognition or something? Or
But you can also argue that he had all that access, right? And he was going through all their firewalls. So he could have easily planted like
true. Like what they did in Superior with the Goblin virus thing?
Yeah, type thing. So, what can I say? He's got to throw in some nerdy Nick pics. Also, Donatello impersonation. Good one, Zach. So, like, I get it. I get it. You know, I understand what you guys are saying, but at the same time, I'm like, bro, like this is Otto who has contingency plan upon a contingency plan. Who's far more Machiavellian than most.
And also he does have an established backdoor into Beyond's tech.
Yeah.
Because it's based on his. Oh, guess who's here? It's Paul. Hello, Paul.
Oh my God, he showed up.
You're muted.
Paul is muted. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul.
Vinkman saying that he has an image of Adam Sandler as Otto.
Wow. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Right,
You've
cool.
missed out on a lot. We are on the 3rd issue. So
Wow.
briefly,
Well, we're an hour and a half in, so I think we've made good time.
I'm so sorry. I had to meet with someone today about something I've been working on. So he could only meet with me today. So I apologize in advance. So I
all good.
normally it won't happen. I promise. Because my schedule's gotten better where I can come on earlier potentially on Wednesday. So
Ooh.
potentially.
you made my day, Paul.
I know.
Emoji.
Heart.
Wings,
Yes.
fire, earth,
Heart.
water, heart.
By powers combined.
Ian Curtis dancing.
Captain
All right.
Eco Terror.
I'm not sure.
So things you missed. My wife may have COVID.
You and everybody else.
Yeah, well, We've gone 2 years without having a bunch of narrow misses. So we talked a little bit about Spidey's box office performance, briefly about Morbius being,
I laughed.
delayed till April Fool's Day.
But
And
can
now
I
we're on the
talk?
third and final issue of the.
Can I really quickly, guys, spitfire a couple of hot takes?
All right.
Really awesome. Really awesome. Spider-Man's doing really well
Yes.
in the box office. I think it's great. I think it's good for the box office, even with Omicron, dwelling all over the place. And then Morbius, on our chat, I've said it before. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Definitely Omicron's definitely one of them. But it definitely, I think Morbius is going to be a solid movie. As far as I say solid in the context of superhero movies, not in movies in general. Movies in general is probably going to be shit, but in superhero movies it'll be fine. So if that makes any sense.
It's like if it's a C, I think all of us that are hardcore Spidey fans, outside of you, Kevin, and I know you're going to be watching this later. Kevin, I love you, but you're the only Morbius fan I know.
I like Morbius.
Yeah, but would you watch a whole movie?
Are you
about them?
hardcore fan of Morbius?
You collect you collect every.
Well, no. I have a lot though. I have
he has every appearance, including that what if where Morbius got eaten by sharks.
not that hardcore, but I mean, I have how about this? How about this?
You have street cred.
I have a bunch of the 90s comics and I enjoy them. The Night Stalkers Morbius crossover was a really fun story. So, that's what I think. But yeah, I like Morbius. I've always liked him. I prefer his 90s Michael Jackson look opposed to the comic book look. I think that's a much cooler look. That's just me. Should know. So yeah, Morbius. I'm excited to watch it. I'm going to watch it a ton. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And as far as the other issues, what issues were we reviewing? I don't even have my
82, 83, and 84.
The last 3 issues that have come out.
Okay, so the first one of 82, 83. Okay, so 82 was the last Craven comic.
No, it was the
82 was the Peter and MJ in the
movie.
hospital horror movie.
Oh,
yeah.
that one, and then 83 was
Peter's excellent adventure.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and then all right. So first of all, okay, so bear with me really quickly, all right? Because I have a lot to say about that other issue, the middle one, the Peter's Dream. So, and I'm really bummed out I missed out on this, guys, but I had to meet with somebody.
It's all good.
Okay, so here's the deal. The Peter MJ issue, solid. That's probably Azad's. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Ahmed, excuse me. I'm really bad with pronouncing and everything. And those who know me know. It's a solid issue. I thought it was a solid issue. I thought it was fun. I like the whole demon thing in the hospital. I was not anticipating that. That was kind of cool. So I give him solid one and done issue. I thought it was great. So I'd give that one a solid B. Which again, I was not anticipating that with that writer. I have not been impressed with his stuff, to be honest. Now, on to Patrick Gleason's issue, which is 83, right?
Yes, Kino.
Yeah.
83? Oh,
Yes.
bye-bye.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
I keep disappearing.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure if Patrick Gleason's written a lot besides drawing. I don't know.
He did a Superman run where he did both.
He co-wrote with Tomasi, Batman and Robin, and Superman.
But he never wrote it by himself.
No, but he does. He did do one of the Red Goblin stories in the Red Goblin one shot in October 2019.
That's crazy.
I know these things. I didn't even read that.
I know. I was gonna say I'm surprised you even know that.
Because you're a super fan, Neil.
That's true. That's true.
I'm Gleason's self-professed biggest fan.
So I like Gleason's art. It's incredible. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's super good. I thought his art has always been impeccable. Now, when I heard he was a writer, it almost felt like we don't want to lose you, Patrick. So we'll make you a writer. Like that's what it kind of felt like. Yeah, right. I mean, again,
reading that letter page they did at the beginning, here's our token artist writer.
Yeah, whatever. Right, exactly. It just didn't feel completely sold. I don't know. It was whatever. I was like, okay, I'm sure it'll be fine. And when I got to the issue and I was like, oh, he wrote and drew this, I was and I don't know any of your guys' responses right now. I was extremely impressed with the comic book itself. I thought it was one of the better Spider-Man one-shot issues about Spider-Man, not just Peter and MJ having a fun story, fun romp, which again, nothing wrong with that at all. But as an actual Spider-Man story, one-shot, getting the essence of the character.
Yeah, the character
was
great.
Yeah, I was blown away. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, this is really visually interesting. But the dialogue seemed solid. The characterizations were all there. I was really impressed. And I sat there going, they might have something here. We might have the next Eric Larson, or, where as far as for Spider-Man, I like Eric Larson a lot. Like, no, I just say it in response to writer-artist, because we haven't had a lot of writer-artists for Spider-Man in a long time, as far as I remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last one, to be honest.
Well, no. Let me rephrase my "oh no," Paul. Oh no,
Dragon.
what will Patrick Gleason become? Is the
No, right. Yeah, right. No, fair enough.
Okay.
No, but
I think.
Dude,
the
if you read
last
his,
time we had a
Zach, have you read
artist-
his Savage Dragon recently? You'll know why I mean it.
I was reminded of some
haven't.
of those issues lately.
It's just
and
porn.
kind of.
But-
Yeah.
No,
It's like,
I will say this:
graphic
the
stuff
last
in there.
writer artist that I can remember that did anything, the last writer or artist that tried to do writing that I can remember is the late Tom Lyle, writing Unlimited on Spider-Man. He didn't. Now Ron Lim did a lot of the artwork, I think, for those issues. But yeah, Tom Lyle tried his hand at writing, and sorry, Tom, but
No, but and I'm sure it might be a couple other instances we don't remember, but I don't. As far as Spider-Man specifically, only last time I remember was Eric Larson, and it was super good.
The big ones are McFarlane and Larson, pretty much.
Right,
I think.
and those are. I mean, the art's stunning. I love Larson. Larson's always will be my favorite. But I was really impressed with how Patrick really got the essence of, I think, all the characters' voices. I was really impressed. Like, he had a good sense of pacing, and I'm sure the editors helped out and things like that. But I mean, you don't tout him as a writer artist without knowing you're confident that he's putting out good work and that he's proven that he can get it, and he gets it. And I want him on more. And if he just has to write a couple issues, I'm fine with it.
So can I offer a hypothetical, Paul?
Sure.
If let's say one of the four established writers in the Beyond board alongside Gleason is selected to write, and then they brought in Gleason as a co-writer, do you think that would be kind of a good idea?
Yeah, I think so. I think 100%. At this point, I mean, I need to see a little bit more maybe from the writing standpoint, but I mean,
I think he's writing 90.
Yeah, so I mean, if 90's solid, I'm gonna be like, dude, like to make him be an artist on a regular basis and have him co-write too as one of the head writers. I think it's a no-brainer at this point. And
McNulty points out that he's in rare good company, like Miller, Byrne, Murphy, Sean Murphy, and Paul Pope. Gleason's in that kind of that weird, not weird, but like in a very rare company.
I want to see more output of his writing before I put him in those other people's category, mainly John Byrne and Frank Miller.
He needs more, he needs more output and a bit more consistent output. Yeah.
I mean, he's co-written, and that's huge. I mean, that is part of it. But I mean, as far as I need to see what he can do on a couple other issues. But I mean, I'll be honest. Some of the themes he brought into that comic book, I was really impressed with. And
we were talking about it. Oh, sorry.
No, he was. I think Zach are muted or something.
Oh yeah, I'm muted. Sorry, dealing with the dog, trying to get him out. The mascot of the Spidey Radio Network. I think the manifestation of the spider sense is a fascinating concept, and it really, like I said earlier, it ties in the web of life aspect that we've been exploring for the last now 20 years of Spider-Man, in particularly, because the way the web of life thing and the totem aspect and the spider sense being an extra
well, it also gives this
supernatural sense.
It gives this cover a bit more continuity in the universe.
Yeah,
I was gonna get there.
More meaning.
No, can I gotta say this before. Maybe you guys already said this, but I want to say it before anyone else does. All right, I gotta have to say it right now. So bear with me, Zach. I apologize.
Okay.
Do you think And if he is, this is my own biasness, so maybe I want this to happen, so I'm going to try to wish it in fulfillment.
Okay.
But am I the only one that when he showed this issue, because I was like, whoa, I read into it maybe a little bit differently. I was like, wait a minute, did Peter have a dream where he had a nightmare of that Spider-Man, like in his dream, and that's where the origin of the costume comes from? Is from his dream?
Wow.
I think.
Come on! Come on,
crazy.
Gleason! Come on, Gleason! Dude, when I read that, that's what I thought.
So I mostly thought that like the stuff that happened like the memory of Uncle Ben telling Peter off, like that was this is like a fever dream. So there's like certain things
I agree with that.
that are altered. I think that the like webhead. I have another name for it, but Zach won't let me say it on air anymore.
Okay.
Well, he called it like what was it? The sperm body.
But guys, but honestly, like there is a juicy thematic like Spider-Man story with that whole web, like, because I have the red one. Hold on, let me grab the red one for you.
I actually chose the webhead. I actually chose the sperm monster as the cover for this issue's thumbnail for the podcast.
That's a good.
Now,
That's a good
Ooh.
thumbnail.
No, so this is my friend Justin Bolger. He gave me this as a gift, and I just love him. He's always overly generous. I'm jealous. I do love both. I need to get both and have them back to back. It's beautiful. There is such juicy storytelling in this. If this actually becomes a character, like to me, if I was a writer, what Gleason did was basically say this is the origin of the Spider-Man costume. Peter had a nightmare. And this is what the nightmare was. And that nightmare became the Spider-Man costume. That's what I read into it. And
that's kind of a little too Batman-y for me. Like,
yeah, like Batman falls down a well and sees some bats.
I am the costume.
No, but the thing is, it's not him at all though. Because if this was, think about this. If this was a nightmare, this is a nightmare. It's not like it was like the essence of his being. He just needed, when he thought about an idea for a costume for his Spider-Man powers, he was like, oh, I should like that nightmare that looked like this. I should put that on it.
I remember this weird monster I dreamed of when I was 6.
But like, given the idea for the eyes?
Right.
Yeah, but that also brings you to what comes first, the chicken or the egg question that started with the JMS run. Does it tie in that way? And so, Radiac, I know you're a little confused because it is slightly confusing, but the Uncle Ben dream, I think, is something that is a tether point that they have established in this between Ben and Peter. So they're dreaming about this in different ways and going about it in different ways.
Yeah.
So
Which is genius.
And Peter's visualization of it is notably different from Ben's, because Ben in Peter's head has his face has his face normal, and then Ben's has the Beyond Core calling card face. Which again, if you've read Next Wave, which I highly recommend you do, by the way, Paul, read Next Wave.
This weekend. I'm going to read Next Wave this weekend just for you, Neil.
Thank you, Paul. I love you so much, my friend.
No, I'm serious. I'm being serious too. I'm going to read.
I know. I'm being serious too.
I love you too, man.
But
you also missed my quip of the night, though, Paul.
What was this quip?
So the end of the Otto issue, where he's in the Sam Raimi suit. I interpreted that with the trench coat and a hat
Donatello
as
costume.
Donatello costume.
I mean Raphael.
Oh, was it Raphael?
Raphael.
It was Raphael. Okay,
But
my bad.
I made a pretty banger joke about. I actually made 2 pretty banger jokes that Otto was stealing the remote from Click with Adam Sandler. And
with the hard drive that looks suspiciously like the power pack from iPhone 13.
And then Ben and Janine have a self-driving car that, unlike a Tesla, won't crash when the moon's out of alignment.
Wow.
All this comedy gold you missed out on by not.
I missed it all. So to wrap up the issue, it was an incredible issue. I think there is something there, and I agree with you. You got to be careful with how you deal with having Spider-Man and the whole totem thing. I'm a fan of it personally. I think you can have both. But I do like, again, I like the idea of taking that the web this design and turn it into its own character, because I do also feel there's potential that you could turn this nightmare aspect as a villain for Peter at some point.
It kind of reminds me of like in it was in Spec, but I'm pretty sure the comic did where Peter's in his mindscape and the symbiote is talking to him as Black Suit Spidey.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking
in
the
cartoon, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what about Nightmare, or something like that, where it's like Doctor Strange kind of stuff, where it's like maybe they pull it out of his mind, or some entity from Nightmare's realm takes on, fights Spider-Man, goes into his mind and finds this deep hidden suppressed
some Darkhold shit.
I mean, yeah, but I don't want to say Darkhold because it's overplayed at this point already, which is saying a lot. It's saying a lot. But anyway, I if they don't do it, that's fine. But I think there's a really, really interesting story there. But that's just me. But I love that he incorporated this, and it was done in a very naturally, a natural way that it felt perfect for the comic book and the character.
It didn't make me feel like Gleason was going, okay, time to get my royalty checks. Let's go.
Yeah, no. It felt very natural and felt perfect for the story. I loved it. I want to see more of it. That's maybe why I want to incorporate it. But that's what I would do. So yeah, it's an A+ for me.
So Radiac, you brought up the tampered memory by Ben having the black hole in his face. That's Ben. The important thing to remember is that Ben, is that ASM 75 is the first time we see it, and we assume it's Peter.
Yeah, we assume it's Peter, but it's not.
ASM 84 recontextualizes it to show that it's actually Ben's memory.
And we see that Ben, it gets brought up during this run that Ben is having weird memory problems, and then when he's hallucinating during the Kraven issues, the hole in the face theme pops up again.
It comes up for him, like his face is hollow.
So we start to think that maybe what happened in 75 with the Uncle Ben dream, and he has a hole in his face, maybe that wasn't Peter's dream. Maybe that's a Ben thing that's been happening with his memory problems.
And we kind of assumed also that Dr. Kafka is kind of messing with his head with the Sonic the Hedgehog ring.
Well, we know that there's gonna be some
goblin-y shit with her.
Yeah, some heel turning.
Stop it! I don't know anything. Don't tell me. I have avoided everything.
It's in the solicits.
I don't read the solicits. I don't read solicits, man.
Well, then you have to leave for like the last 20 minutes because we're going.
Yeah, because we're going to be talking about solicits. We're going to be talking about the to be honest, the solicits don't really spoil anything for the next issues. So
I thought you guys just talked about the reveal of the character. Maybe I missed some of it. I don't know, but I don't want to be revealed.
Okay. I will tell you, it is not in the March solicits. There's nothing to do with.
It's in a variant cover.
Well, then still show me the variant cover. Then I'm fine.
Yeah, we won't show you the variant cover or anything like
that. I try to avoid spoilers. I want to say spoiler free. So anyway, comic was great.
So real quick, McNulty makes a point that like at least the webhead cover being the motivation for you to be better than like having a arcane, I guess Arachne, I'm guessing is what McNulty meant. Seduce Peter like the original draft to turn off the dark. I'm going to be honest, that would have been kind of not. I wouldn't think it would be a good plot point, but I would take a ton of drugs and that would be like batshit insane. I'd love it.
A plus, by the way. That's why I gave that comic A plus.
The Gleason issue.
Yeah.
So the McNulty question now: could the memory problems be having a sign of early sign of clone generation?
We're back to this plot point.
Yes, and yes and no. I honestly think that it's more a symptom of the fact that he's been photocopied 27 times.
I also think it could just
and
be
that there is memory degradation when you have that much traumatic situation in life. Being revived 27 times. It's taking that original concept of what was trying to be explored in the Peter David book and kind of giving it a little bit more of a meta commentary, because Ben's psyche is broken, and we do learn throughout that, despite the giant FU that is Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider 25, that I absolutely detested and went on a full-blown rant that you can find over on Spider-Man Crawlspace. So yeah, but yeah, no, I am of the plot point that so.
Well, and just for the record, I do think that I love the storytelling and like the deep themes and then the meta commentary you're talking about of the fact that think about this is Ben is like he cannot remember like someone like Uncle Ben. It's a big dark spot. There's just something visually it's such a horrific thing to think about, like the fact that you're the loved one that you are your basis of living essentially is off of, like you're not remembering it the right way. Like there's I think how we've gotten to Beyond has been weird because of, again, what the Spencer stuff before. But that being said, the themes and the writers have been doing I think for the most part, been doing a pretty solid job to good job of giving us really interesting ideas and themes for these characters and giving Ben a lot more. He's a lot more interesting than he was, when Slott brought him back and when Peter David was writing him. So all this stuff has been great storytelling. So I'm really super into it. So. Are we on the last issue? Are we still talking about it? Are we done?
We were more or less.
I have one more.
Last one.
We already wrapped up 84, but you can go for it, champ.
Okay, all right, last one. Sorry, last one. I liked it. Ziegler is just a solid goddamn writer. Like, dude, just write his ass off.
we kind of talked about like how we were surprised that the Rick and Morty writer was the one who has turned out like the most emotionally effective Spider-Man stuff out of the.
I like his auto too.
Dude.
I just like good. And Paco Medina's artwork.
Did anyone
just
sings. Yes.
Yeah, dude. Why isn't this guy doing this book all the time?
All the time.
Jeez.
Yeah.
God.
So what else? Which one did he do? Which one was?
He did a U.S. Avengers.
Oh God.
You didn't like U.S. Avengers?
No.
He did that first.
Paul is really loud
story,
tonight.
Like
the poor audio person's ears.
He did Ewing's New Avengers. Hang on, let me check out.
Remember when
he did do New Avengers.
Superior Spider-Man. Remember when they introduced Superior Spider-Man?
No, he did Ewing's New Avengers.
They had him suit up for the first time in the costume, like the altered Spider-Man costume. He did that issue.
I just want this page. I just want to say is just gorgeous.
Awesome.
The layout, it's so simple, but the visual. I'm trying to get a good visual of this. The visual of Ben putting the mask on in the costume in the car like that is just, the transition of this is beautiful. It looks gorgeous. It's 3 simple panels, and with the backdrop of his Spider-Man. Look, his Spider-Man is so good. It's so good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Paco Medina needs to be in the regular art rotation.
So he on the book yesterday.
So, hang on, I'm pulling up everything Medina's done. He did Avengers No Road Home.
Oh God.
He did a bunch of Fantastic Four issues during Slott's run. He did one issue of Slott's Iron Man run. God damn, this guy keeps getting like saddled with shit from Slott.
Stop it. He's not that bad, but he can be.
Marvel 2-in-1, Jason Aaron's Avengers, Avengers.
Oh, that's right, he
Surrender.
was.
Avengers
I remember his.
Avengers No Surrender. Let's see. U.S. Avengers. Contest of Champions.
Why are they?
New Avengers. Guardians of the Galaxy. Bendis' Guardians.
Something, and I don't know what they did.
Whoa.
Contest of Champions.
I don't know what.
Legendary Star-Lord.
I don't know where that came from.
He's basically done like a bunch of D-list shit. I'm glad he's getting an A-list title.
No, he honestly, if I was Marvel,
if I was Nick Lowe, I'd be like, dude, you're on Spider-Man now.
I would say right now, Paco, Gleason, and then if you can maybe get the guy who did the McKay run, or not McKay, but the guy who did the Black Cat, who did the Craven issues.
CF Villa.
If you got those 3 guys on Spider-Man,
are we talking about? Are we talking about the annuals, or are we talking about like the standard issues? Because
the standard issues, the Craven.
Because Joey Vasquez did the annuals. I'd actually want him on. I want him on ASM.
He's solid. No, but the Craven issues with Ziegler.
That was Michael Dowling.
Yeah, Dowling. If you get Paco, Dowling, and Gleason doing doing the run of Spider-Man books that year, I think that would be a killer lineup, man.
I'd also take Fiorelli.
Yeah, and he's not bad too. I mean, like, but those are the three that have stuck out. I mean, Gleason sticks out because he's a superstar. But Gleason, Paco, and the guy who did the Craven run, I got terrible with names. Those three artists, I've been like, wow, like that stuff sticks out to me the most. As far as the visual storytelling, as far as the art in general, it just feels like Spider-Man to me. Even though Spider-Man's not even like Peter Parker's not even in the book really. It's Ben Reilly. It's like it moves. He moves like Spider-Man, and that's so important for a comic book for Spider-Man. You can have someone. Yeah, like Spider-Man can stand around and he can be Spider-Man, but like Spider-Man is Spider-Man the way he's in the panels of like his movements and like the way he's crouched. It's that they do the beautiful job of that.
Yeah.
So it was a solid issue. I thought it was a good. I liked seeing Doc and Ben fight. I thought it was good. Ziggler has great dialogue. That story just
oh shit! I was posting in the comments under both the YouTube and the Facebook. Oh crap!
You're dead.
But
it's a good issue.
I'm blocking Russian bots in the chat.
Well, that's good. So I'd say I'll give it a solid A. I mean, it wasn't like top notch, but it was a pretty damn good book. I've just been enjoying Spider-Man, man. It's been a good run, like of issues, to be honest. I think.
So Radiac asks, I will be set with Gleason and Medina as main artists, but who could be the next writer? Art-wise, ASM needs a powerhouse. I stick to my guns, Jed McKay.
I agree. I think Jed and
Ziggler.
If you put Gleason, Ziggler, and McKay together, but Ziggler seems like he'd be a hard person. But he's got a lot of other stuff going on, so I'd want someone to be a little really focused on the character.
Yeah, because McKay's doing Moon Knight, which I don't want him leaving from.
No, me neither.
And he's also doing Doctor Strange / Strange whatever they're calling the book with Clea. So he's obviously very busy, and Spencer's time seems completely taken up by ASM. Like and when Slott was writing the book, he could barely get Silver Surfer out, and it took like 2 years to get out 13 issues.
I as much as I don't want to say this because I don't like the direction they took the X-Men. I do feel that like they need, if they can't find an editor, and not against Nick Lowe, but they can't find an editor that's creatively driven, like a Danny Figueroff, which I think is a very underrated editor because he was in Tom DeFalco, who were editors as
Isaac again,
who were editors as writers, and they wrote along with edit, so they knew the creative process and had a lot of creative ideas. If you can't find someone like that, then you need to find someone who basically is in charge of the character, or at least like a Jonathan Hickman. Not Hickman, God no, but give me a writer like a Spencer that was in charge.
We're going to talk about the rumors from Rich the Leech later.
Oh, God, no, Hickman, please.
Please. I actually thought the ending to Inferno today was really great.
No. Hickman is so, I hate to say it, and I'm gonna get a lot of crap for this. I think he's overrated. I'm sorry. He's a good writer. He's genius. The problem is that he just doesn't. I don't think he sticks all his landings, and I think the stuff he does is good, but it's overhyped. Like his Fantastic Four run is solid, but like people think it's like the best Fantastic Four run. I'm like,
Hickman is very much an acquired taste.
I would agree with that to an extent. I think he's for the most part good, but
Radiac mentioning so Hickman we'll talk about later because that's what Rich the Leech is speculating, but also Donny Cates, and I swear to God, if Cates gets on ASM, I will actually leave the book.
Oh, stop!
His Hulk run.
I won't even leave the book,
dude. His Hulk run is shit, and his store is turning to shit.
Dude, I like the story run, but I did lose interest, which just sucks because I really like the premise. Really interesting premise. But man, his Hulk run, I just heard about it. I'm like, nope, I'm good.
Oh yeah, we did talk about Timeless.
We did talk briefly about Timeless, yes. And sorry guys, the internet decides to want to take a dump because I have Comcast and it sucks. But it's the only option I have. So
what you get for living in Houston?
I know, right? Not like it would have been much better back home.
True. You would have been in Snowville.
Yeah, it's been snowing up there. But it's been really funny. Everybody was complaining about it being super duper cold down here for Houston, and I'm like, you guys are cute. The wind chill tonight is supposed to be between -5 and -15.
Upstate?
Yeah, upstate. So, I don't know what happened to Paul, but no. So this is also why. Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for your help with this show at patreon.com/Spideydude Network, because that helps offset the costs, including making people like Neil a co-host and Paul a co-host and Kelly a co-host. That way, if stuff goes sideways, the show does go on. So
I am the show.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what's going on with Paul, so I don't want to say let's move on to the next segment, but
I mean, we don't really have like a segment right now. I mean, we kind of just got off of him talking about ASM 84, so I guess we don't really have a topic right now.
Yeah, I guess we can do the swag call right quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna load up solicits while we're doing that.
Sounds good. So, first of all, hope everybody had a great Christmas. I want to reveal things that I ended up getting for Christmas. Now, this is not necessarily Spidey related, but I did get a blanket handmade by that's blue, red, and white. That was made by my mother-in-law. Thank you to my mother-in-law for that. Everybody else had a blanket before me, so I finally got one. I also got Webman, the fan channel exclusive Marvel Legend. And then for longtime fans of the show, I have bagged on this character for longtime fans of like Clone Saga Chronicles. But unironically, I had to request this from my wife. So I am the one guy that was begging for this High Evolutionary figure just so I could shit on a High Evolutionary.
Don't you dare.
You gotta tie it to Spider-Man Limited.
Scarlet Spider Unlimited #1 is the worst issue of... one of the worst issues of the Clone Saga. So, and he was a primary factor in that.
I need to get that figure.
It's out now. Both of which are out now. Also, the No Way Home wave is out now. And I fully expect a second No Way Home wave.
I need a Morloon ASAP.
With the little sucky suck fingers.
Damn right.
Who's Marloon?
Morlun,
whatever.
Morlun. Yeah. So Morlun.
I don't know whatever his name is.
Yeah, Morlun's out. Shriek is out. Jonah.
Too.
There's one figure that honestly I feel like, yes, I understand why he's in the wave, but then they literally just announced the Doctor Strange wave, like the very end of the year.
Sleepwalker.
Yes, Sleepwalker is going to be, and that is one that of that wave. That's like the only one that I want of that wave. Like the rest, I just don't do a lot of MCU figures anymore, other than Spider-Man. So like, I've done that on purpose because otherwise, like, it'd be a lot worse. So, like, I have a handful of MCU figures, and most of them I've gotten rid of them. But yeah. So, yeah, the Doctor Strange figure. The new one's actually slightly better. So that one's kind of the one that I'm like, eh. And like Armadillo is not a Build-A-Figure I'm really like super jonesing for, so it's like, eh. It seems like every other Build-A-Figure wave I like anymore. Like, to me, Armadillo is not a Spider-Man villain. Why is he a Build-A-Figure for a Spider-Man
He's a Kane
wave?
villain now.
Wow.
We got another bot.
Would you be obsessed, or would you be upset with me if I told you I have the entire Joe Fixit wave in a box that I haven't even opened yet?
So McNulty
That's a great Build-A-Figure.
I know.
McNulty proposes the only one who can play the High Evolutionary in the MCU, Adam Sandler.
No. God.
I keep wanting to do my Adam Sandler voice, but every time I do it, I think it sounds like Phil Swift, the Flex Seal guy.
Mm-hmm.
I saw
was
this
Jane
bolt
Warner
in
a bot?
half.
Yeah, that was a bot.
What'd they say?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
They said
They
like
did
they said some broken Russian. I'm guessing it was probably a psychoblad or something.
No, we're getting we're getting more viewers. I just
Bot busting.
Except
makes me
they're
feel
Russian
good.
bots.
I know, right? Like, damn it. We're very
Be gone,
we're very
be gone, bot.
in Soviet Russia. We very popular. So yeah, that was my
Wait, is
my.
that a diss on us?
I don't know.
You said in Soviet Russia, but we're popular.
I don't know. But no, I'm down for I'm really excited about half of that wave. Now the next retro wave, dude, I'm in. Like the whole wave is good. Hammerhead's good. All three of the Spideys are good, which is the unprecedented amount of Spideys that we're getting in a single wave. The Hobgoblin, I already have the other Hobgoblin, so I'm okay. But like that one's like the one that I'm like, eh. I was gonna hope for a new head sculpt, but they let me down on that one.
I have 4 figures from that wave, and I totally forgot Hammerhead's in that. And I'm like, I might need to get Hammerhead too. I might need to get Hammerhead too.
You've already seen the wave out in the wild?
Well, no. I pre-ordered it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had the Black Spider-Man, the Ben Reilly, the Iron Spider-Man, or the Web 100 Spider-Man, and then I have the Hobgoblin all pre-ordered. Oh, wait, I have another.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shocker.
go ahead.
Shocker's the other one that you're gonna have to get to.
You're right. I need that one too.
Yeah, because like I have the Superior Foes Shocker, and I'm not gonna get rid of him because he's part of my Superior Foes group. They still need an overdrive. That's the only one of the Superior Foes they've not produced. Because I have Fred, I have Shocker, I have Beetle, I have Speed Demon, and Speed Demon came with the radio car Silverman.
Yeah.
So like I've got everything but overdrive. Like he is a big omission to me for like modern Spidey comics. But no, like that retro wave, as good as the first one was, and the first one is almost perfect with what they produced in the first one. I mean, the fact that they brought things out like the 90s Daredevil is just gorgeous.
Yeah. I have that figure. I haven't opened it yet. I have so many figures I need to open.
That's the one of the first wave I don't have. I don't have the 2099 because I just haven't got a chance to get, and I don't have Kingpin. I don't have Jonah, Kingpin, and the 2099. Those are
I
the
need
only ones
Kingpin. I need Kingpin.
And I'm going to have to get a new 2099 because mine broke.
Oh, sucks, bro.
Yeah, I'm a little mildly irritated because this was like a gift from my ex-wife when we were still married. So I'm like, damn it. But I mean, we're good now. That was before
I understand.
That was before I wanted to trade her for a Klondike bar. But yeah, so but yeah, no, I have most of the retro carded stuff. And I even thanks to Greg for I got the Venom retro card, but that's one that I won't open. Period.
I need to get a better display for figures. I like to collect them, but I don't put them anywhere. I just hoard them. I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with them all. But I love getting them.
That's probably my biggest issue is I would love to have my figures in my background, but I've got my wall and I don't want to like discount the wall. So I'm like in that kind of power struggle because right below the wall is like my futon. So like if Sarah wants to come sit in here and be a participant, she can do that by being have someplace comfy to sit or something like that. But
what other swag do you get? I want to show my swag.
That's the only 3 things I got. This year was a lot more lighter than last year. Last year I ended up getting the Negative Zone and the Cyber Spidey retro carded stuff from Target. I wish I had gotten 2.
Is it strictly all Spider-Man stuff?
If it's comics, Marvel stuff, yeah, I'm down.
Well, it's comics, not Marvel. I got the first. I've been wanting this for a long time. The Ninja Turtles Volume 1. I'm gonna get all the original, all the original. I want to get all of them. My wife got me the second one, but it hadn't come yet, so I'm not sure when.
How's IDW's printing on those hardcovers? Or is
They're
it
not hardcover. It's soft cover. It looks fine. I mean, it's oversized. It's.
Well, I'm asking like how the paper quality is because I know their Transformers paperbacks are usually phenomenal, but like, is the paper quality good?
It's solid. I mean, it's thick. It feels. Yeah, it's solid. I like it.
That is my one complaint.
So it's not a Marvel trade. That's good. Okay, got it.
Wow.
That's my one complaint of the clone trades is the paper quality is very thin, and I had one that my daughter ended up ripping out a page.
Oh.
And so I had to like tape it back up, but.
So this is dedicated to all the Batman fans like Bertoni and Donovan Morgan Grant. This is Batman Urban Legends. I wanted this for the Red Hood story by Zdarsky because I love Red Hood. So haven't read it yet, but I'm going to.
Zdarsky's Daredevil run is awesome, and
it's ups and downs, but mostly solid. I would say yes.
Devil's Reign looks like it's pretty good.
At its worst, I think its worst is like mediocre, but like it's had some really high highs.
I agree with that's well said. That's exactly it. I've been wanting to read this for a long time. I've read most of it, but I had it mostly digitally. I got the physical book, so I'm very excited to read this. So
you've read it though, right? Before
I've only read half of it. I need to finish it.
Dude, I have flipped so hard on that book because when I first came out, I loved it, but now that it's come out, I can't stand it. when you've read it, we'll talk more about it. But
I kind of know what happens, but I understand. And then I got
all these deep discussions can be found on the comment.
King Rorschach.
I have all the Watchmen stuff I collect. I love Watchmen World, whether it's good or bad. I liked what I've read of this. I just wanted to read the whole thing. So it was just getting to read it like issue by issue. It was just kind of I want to read it all at once.
That's a common theme in King books.
I don't know. I think Tom King's Vision is one of my favorite comics of all time. So I'm a Tom King fan.
But they tend to read better collected.
I think you might be mostly right,
he's kind of like the modern, and not that Bendis is dead or anything, but he's very Bendis like.
So I'm really excited to read this and finish it. I liked what I read.
His Strange Adventures is hot garbage. Just putting that out there.
I've got this for myself.
Dude,
awesome.
My wife would kill like. Oh.
I see them all over the place at Target. Like they're all over the place.
I haven't been at Target lately, so the only thing I've seen at Target that I want.
Oh, the Hobgoblin too.
Is the what you call it?
Black Cat?
Oh, no, the
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man related, the Reed Richards retro carded Reed Richards. That's the only thing that I've seen that, and I've seen some of the Far From Home wave at Walmart.
Wait! The Reed Richards like in the trench coat?
Yeah,
or the white coat? I see like 8 of those, like all the time. Like they're everywhere.
Which if you guys.
Well, if you want one, let me know. I see them all over the place. So if you want one, I'll get one.
Well, and you being in Seattle, because that's where Funko is produced, you're probably gonna get it. You're getting, although we still haven't got our freaking Spider. Don't even get me started on Pop in a Box.
Now hold on. I never thought I'd get into Funkos, and I'm not into them, but I'm collecting more than I realize. It's weird. Cool. So
are cool.
I've gone down the rabbit hole a little bit. I mean,
all those are my wife's. I have 2.
I like them now, but I like the bigger ones like this. Like this is really fun. Like this one and my thing. I have the Ben Grimm thing one from Target, which I really like, and I have this. Dude, this. I'm so glad I picked this up. I bought this before Christmas, and my wife goes, "Why'd you wait for Christmas?" I went, "If I don't buy it now, I'm never gonna see this." And she's like, "No, Paul, no." And I goes, "Just fine, just get it then." And I got it, and I have not seen it since, ever. And now I'm like, thank you, God.
And I already know, without even looking at it, Vinkman got the entire retro carded FF wave, which is good. I think he's also getting. He's gonna do some. I think he's gonna customize that Sue Storm. By the way, I don't know if it's gonna be next week or because it kind of depends on my health. If I don't catch
My
COVID.
health.
Well, because
My health.
But,
I know.
I'm thinking about
My
next
health.
week, doing a Marvel Legends centric episode, just talking about.
I'd be stoked.
I kind of want to go through the history of it too, as well. So
I should get.
And I knew it. Venkman was going to be like, "Oh, Funko Pops." Turns
Spider-Man
white.
ones are cool, man. That's
Yeah,
all.
dude.
No,
I am.
90s
I am
show
someone who
stuff
doesn't
is-
like him.
Yeah, the 90s show stuff looks legit.
That 90s Spider-Man looks really good.
I almost
different.
bought that too. I almost bought it. I almost bought that. It's weird
I-
because, yeah.
I have an ever-growing list of shit that I'm trying to buy. The busts,
Join the
two
club.
busts, the two Spidey 90s Spidey busts that they sell at Walmart. I
Oh,
need.
yeah.
Like I need those. Like my 90s kid soul needs those things. Same thing.
My
by
friend
the way,
has them.
the NECA
I
toys.
think if what you're talking.
There's a big part of me that wants to get also those Gargoyles toys because I want to support Gargoyles and Greg and our show, Voices from the
Have you ever-
Gargoyles podcast.
Do you guys know the Instagram person Father's Figures? He does like toy photography.
Yeah.
If you go online and you go up Father's Figures, and if you know who he is, he's one of my best friends. And if we have a Marvel Legends talk, we've got to get him on. Because that guy,
Shoot
he knows
him
his
a
stuff.
DM. Let's talk.
I was texting. He's my best friend. My best friends. I was at his wedding. He's in my wedding. We're homies.
Dude, bring him on. I am down. Like I know Yeetus Deletus is not like a huge Marvel Legends guy because now he does have one.
I have two.
He has two. Where was the other one?
The other one's the I think the 2014 Silk.
Oh,
The 2015 one that Venkman got me as a graduation present.
Is it the gray one?
Let me go get it.
Okay. Because there's two. That's why I'm asking. Because there was a the
Dude,
fan channel.
you know all about this like lore about Marvel Legends bullshit. So I'll show it and you can figure it out for me.
Yeah, I got you.
Wow. No, I'd be.
So Radiac says, I dislike Funkos and Marvel Legends, but I get the hype. Getting a good figure of Mayday would make any fan happy. I collect Amazing Yamaguchi and Mezco. Look, Mezco's got some great stuff, man. They're just so damned expensive. I love the posability of Mezco. That's on my list too. I need to get the Ben Reilly one.
Yeah, it's great torso.
Okay. So
That's a great figure.
Silk
Yeah.
is the Space Knight Venom wave. That they did.
I don't know.
Now there was a re-release of Silk. She won there was a fan vote. I think it was
She
the
beat out Sif.
The 2020 fan vote. Beat out Sif. Everybody thought Sif was going to win it, but no, Silk won it.
Silk stands. We mobilized.
So the only difference between the two is the paint scheme is white where the gray is. But that was like a repaint that I think nobody really complained about because she was, for some reason, the female figures tend to be more sought after because you have collectors that you have certain niche collectors that go just for the female figs, and that's it. They don't want anything else. And so those tend to be kind of hard to find. There's a few that I've let go over the years that I immensely regret doing, that I just had to sell. The biggest one for me is Rhino. I had the complete Build-A-Figure Rhino, and I let that go. But no, I am down. I've been wanting to do a Marvel Legends centric episode for a while, and so I think we'll also have Venkman on. He wants to talk about.
Yeah,
it.
dude.
We'll definitely do that. There was some guys that were talking about some old school Spidey figs and Spider-Man Classics one came up, and so I do want to talk about that. I'm also trying to find the Spidey Toy Collector because SpideyToyCollector.com is no longer around, and it makes me sad because that was such an invaluable resource that was out there. Like that was like the Spider fan for Spider-Man toys. And I get that part of it may have been like trying to keep up with everything was so hard because there is so much now between Mezco and Amazing Yamaguchi, like all the foreign figures as well as the domestic figures that are coming out now. But no, Mezco does the best, some of the best figures. Hot Toys are just Hot Toys are chef's kiss, you know, in terms of their detail and their articulation and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that. So I would watch it, maybe get into them if there's a good guide and where to buy. I don't know if you can still get some, as what I collect mostly Japanese goes even before pre-orders come in. Yeah, that they're very notoriously hard to find. I'll also talk about the knockoffs, and there is one key tenet on if it sounds too good to be true on eBay for a Mezco, it is too good to be true.
Also assume it's not in good faith.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I bought what I thought was a real Mezco before I knew anything about it. Thought I got a sweet deal, and it was definitely a knockoff, and it does not stay together. Not that they're the one thing about the Japanese figs, they are very much more fragile than domestic figures in general, but like mine has never stayed together. Love the articulation, love the look of it, love the stuff that it comes with. Hate that I can't keep it together. Like, so. Oh, Vinkman has an answer for me. I think Spidey Toy Collector switched over to Facebook. Hey, if he did that, great. I'll reach out to him, and I need to reach out to him. So, we want to do solicitations right quick, and then I'll kind of go into what my plans are for the year.
Okay, so how many books do we want to do? Do we want to do like all the Spider books, or just?
I mean, I would stick mainly to Amazing. Let's stick with that. To me, that and if there's an ancillary title that's Spidey related. So.
Right. Okay. So here's Carnage. New Venom mini by Michelini.
Yeah, that's going to be set in the Lethal Protector era. So
yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
What if Miles Morales became? This is like the weird. Like this is back to What If being just like fucking bonkers and just.
I love it.
Random.
Give it to me. That's all gonna be rad.
Yeah, for those that are not the Gwenverse thing, I'm not looking forward to. God,
no.
If you weren't feeling suicidal yet, Savage Spider-Man.
Oof.
No one cared about Nonstop. I don't know why they think they're gonna care about this. ASM. Beyond is ending. I guess Misty Knight and Colleen are turning against Ben. I don't know. Monica one shot. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to this Bay issue.
Nice Bagley cover, by the way.
Has Bagley done Monica before?
I don't think so, man.
It's Luigi Zagaria. Like, what is with all the Italians here?
Because they're on time.
That's where.
I mean,
and they're really good.
Dude,
honestly,
I like that cover. I like that cover too of Ben.
Damn,
Ben
Bagley's just on it. Oh wait, they don't have a colored Adams cover. What the fuck?
That's
weird.
weird.
That cover is
The variant covers.
but
Not again. Okay.
All right.
Miles is going through his multiversal trip. Venom getting edgier than ever with the Psy dragon symbol. I don't give it. Ben Reilly, where Ben Reilly goes up against a college student.
Wait, why does the Sewer Trainer's daughter look like the Leprechaun from the Leprechaun movies?
That must be the Scrooge cover.
This is gross.
It is.
The only other one is the Jurgens cover, and I think Declan Shalvey. Sorry.
The Jurgens cover looks the best of the three.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, the Jurgens cover looks the best with him
what the hell happened, Scrooge? Jesus.
Dude.
I'm not surprised, dude.
Why is the Leprechaun attacking Spider-Man?
Does nobody remember how weird his faces were in the 90s? Like I'm old enough to remember. Oh, is that
looking forward to Silk? It's a facsimile edition of Hobgoblin.
Nice.
Or 238. Spider-Woman's. I'm surprised this book is still alive. Like,
I liked what I read. I just kind of stopped reading it, but I want to keep reading it. I liked what I read.
I think it's the problem is that like I keep reading it. I'm like, hey, that was pretty fun, and I just kind of forget it existed, and I get bored.
Yeah, no, that's that's kind of. I don't get bored, but I just like I kind of it's forgettable, but it's not bad by any means.
This book actually looks kind of fun.
Superior 4.
Yeah, where Otto recruits like a bunch of like a new Fantastic Four of Dr. Octopuses, and they're all backstabbing each other.
Other bot.
Devil's Reign, aka Civil War 3.
But this time Iron Man's not a fascist, so he can be the good guy this time. Moon Knight, hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah.
Daredevil, excellent. Saber,
Hell yeah, brother.
XXX, fantastic. Yeah, shit. Slot
The
shit. Slot shit. That's cool.
Dude, all right. So wait, so they're doing a Hulk grand design. Who do we have for Spider-Man grand design?
Hopefully not
Do that.
Ed Piscopor, or his name is.
Ed Pisker.
Well, no, it won't be him
Okay.
because he already did X-Men.
So I'm not.
We need an underground indie guy to do Spider-Man grand design.
This isn't Spidey relevant, but Paul, I'm not sure what you think of Jason Aaron's Thor run, but this
I like some of it, most of it.
but like this bit pissed me off. Where it's like we're going back to Thor's granddaughters yet again. Jason Aaron just keeps going back to the same OC well.
Yeah, Avengers Forever was good when it was Stern and Busick.
Well, to
and
me, it's mostly just Aaron's getting self-indulgent with his OCs. I'm looking forward to this one. There's a Black Cat story, so
Yeah, by Jed McKay.
really looking forward to She-Hulk. Dark Ages, I guess they've really falsely advertised Dark Ages as being like a Peter-centric book because he's had nothing to do in this book aside from the first issue.
I have no interest in reading that book. Zero.
It's basically Tom Taylor getting to write a steampunk fantasy.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm out. Silver
God damn
Surfer,
it.
Ron Mars, baby, Ron Mars, Ron Lamb, yeah,
Yeah,
dude, Iron Man, the most underrated Marvel comic right now. So good.
I'm gonna be honest. The pacing in this book was such shit that I quit like 8 issues in.
I loved it. I love it.
Okay, so I'm not
That's a
gonna
great
lie.
cover.
I get that there's a bit of Ben Riley tying in, but like
He doesn't
Ben
do
is such
anything.
an ancillary character in that book.
No, I unironically think
That-
that Ben Riley is just a hallucination caused by Iron Man's morphine addiction. He does that little.
Yeah, he's not. There's not
Moon
much
Knight.
there. Moon Knight, yeah, is gonna get a new.
But who cares? It's if you read it from the start, it's like I really do feel it's a good, solid run, man. People like to shit on that story, but I don't. I read it and I'm
Okay.
like, what's wrong with this book?
So here's my problem: is that like the book initially promised like a down to earth Iron Man book, the classic armor, and then we went right back into like high stakes cosmic bullshit.
See, I don't know what I was promised. I just was like, oh, it's something different. That's all. I didn't go into it with any kind of
it's
expectations.
fun, but like Hellcat takes up too much page time. Like she had more page time in several issues than Iron Man did. It's
like two issues.
It's what
Two
happened with-
issues out of how many?
But to tie this back to Spider-Man, it's what happened with Mockingbird during Slott's Parker Industries era, where Mockingbird had almost as much, if not more, presence than
The
Peter did.
difference is that she's actually they're actual like love interest throughout the whole story. Like they're actually together. In fact, I would say that Hellcat is helping keep Tony together while he's got a big burden on his shoulders, and how and how Hellcat's also regained her telepathy powers and
From
things
Moon
like that.
Dragon,
Yeah. Yeah. So it is really interesting because again, the concept is if they're taking on some like average like Joes or whatever, it'd be one thing, but they're taking on Korvac. It's like it's a cosmic like powerhouse.
And also like there's a bunch of characters that don't need to be there, like Halcyon, Misty Knight, Gargoyle. They don't need to be there. They're basically
They're
just.
there for 3 issues. That's it.
Then
Three
why are
issues.
they there? If they're just going to be there for 3 issues?
Because he
not
needed
doing
them to
anything,
fight the
then-
controller, the unicorn, other people. I mean, Korvac wasn't alone. I mean, he's got other people.
Yeah, but that's essentially just throwing bodies at the. This is
Sounds like that. There needs to be a debate between these
About
two
Iron
on this Iron Man call.
Iron Man
on
sucks.
Ben's
How-
YouTube page.
Hold on. Iron Man sucks because it's got Hellcat, a supporting character, has more time in 2 issues out of like 18. That's crap. I want Tony Stark 80% of the time.
99% of the time, man.
Okay, Paul.
Iron-
88.
Paul, I
book
feel like,
is
I feel like you're
Iron
exaggerating.
Man.
I feel like you're exaggerating my case, but
No, it's not. But see, but Neil, it's actually not really at you because I understand that I've heard that argument a couple times from like comic YouTubers like shitting on it, and I want to be like, get me on the show, get me on the show, bitch. Because here's the thing, they haven't read the book. They've read like 3 issues and they go, well, I read the whole thing. No, you haven't, asshole.
hold me back, fam. No, okay. So
Like, seriously.
in fairness, I have read, like, I actually just read the most current issue. My friend lent me his copy, so it's not like I haven't.
It's so good. It's so good. Like the Stiltman shit that happens in it, like the whole idea of like
Oh.
Tony.
That Build-A-Figure, man.
Like I'm just saying. I just want to say right now.
Stiltman.
I'll shut up now, Zach. I'm sorry. I just want to, and Neil, I apologize. I don't mean to. It's more, I've heard that argument so many times. I want to be like, get me on your show, bitch. Just get me on your show. You could say like, here's the thing. I've heard the biggest thing for me is that Tony Stark is, oh my God. Why'd you ever give him power?
No, right. You have similar power, sir.
I don't abuse my power, sir.
Okay.
But I just, to me, it's if you read the whole thing, you don't have to like it. But to say, well, I have focused on Hellcat too much, she's literally a supporting character throughout the entire book, and it's a love interest, and she has a couple like leading times. Like one time when Tony was literally out cold from getting like his neck almost broken. So it's not like he's just out wandering around doing nothing. Like there's legitimate things that's going on.
I just like the idea that Iron Man's hopped up on morphine, just lying and just wandering around while Hellcat's just doing things.
Well, no, he was. It wasn't that he was out of it, right?
But I'm joking that like imagine if Iron Man was just like hopped up on morphine, just wandering around the streets, just doing nothing.
I just want,
That'd be hilarious.
as an Iron Man fan myself, I can tell you when Iron Man shows up on a random planet and is facing a planet full of Ultimos, like that's rad. That is to me. Knowing the character, having fun with it, the whole thing is everyone talks about how, I guess I didn't know what they promised. I don't read press stuff. I just want to read the story. And the thing is, I've heard people say that it's bringing back to Tony the basic essence of the character, but then they brought in the Hellcat aspect, and people didn't like that, and they felt like it's more the same. I'm talking about the alcoholism and how he's struggling with that. But like to me, like I love the idea how it starts off with this whole like basic idea of Tony, and then it gets on to the bigger ideas of like someone who struggles with substance abuse and has like addiction problems. All of a sudden comes with power cosmic, and like it's really interesting the things with it. And
I guess it just I guess it doesn't help that we had this exact same, not the exact same, but like the basic like Tony gets addicted to thing, goes through a moral lapse. This was the exact same thing that happened in Slot's run. So I'm.
But he's not having a moral lapse, though. It's that's the thing. He hasn't had a moral lapse. That's where you're wrong. It's him with struggling with the moral lapse as far as like, is it going to happen? But right now, he's taking on like this huge cosmic entity, and he has to outsmart it all the time. And now he's obtained the power cosmic. Again, really interesting stuff. I think it's really, again, what Iron Man run has done this? No one. So it is a very interesting dynamic.
Didn't Gillen's run touch on that a little bit? Not to this scale, but
no. Gillen made him like not even Tony Stark was adopted. It wasn't even like his own. Like it was weird out of nowhere, and like he put him in space for a little bit. But like I'm talking about like cosmic. Like Iron Man has become like a super powerful character now. I mean, it won't last, obviously, but at least it's interesting. Like, when does this happen? I mean, last issue.
To me, it reminds me of, and I get, and not to try and cut you off, but like I think we're kind of getting a little bit off topic, and we need to kind of bring it back to solicits.
That's
fun.
No.
It kind of reminds me of like Death Metal, where like the Batman who laughs just becomes like Dr. Manhattan, and like it's just like an entire like there's several issues worth of Batman Hatton who laughs, just like duking it out with Perpetua.
We've only had
it just got boring as hell, and
two issues so far of it. No, so let's see what happens.
No, but I'm just saying that like it could end up being like that, where it's just like, haha, I'm more powerful. No, I am. I'm gonna throw a planet at your head. Fuck you, die.
Well, if you read the last issue when they take on Korvac, like the thing is, we don't know what's going to happen, but I loved how he took on back with the Power Cosmic. It was just really fun. I just felt I haven't had fun like that in a while reading Iron Man. Even though I like this run a lot, it really felt like a throwback to just like full blown like having fun in comic books. It's not like you didn't have to worry about the movies. You have to worry about trying to keep current with that. It was just a fun story, and it's different. So
I remember what made me think of the moral aspect because it has the preview for the next issue of Iron Man where it says the Iron God arrives back on Earth, but it's up to his mortal allies to decide: is the Iron God a fantastic evolution of their old friend or a grave threat?
That's interesting to me.
I'm gonna make the. Dude, it's basically just Iron Man doing like Civil War again. Like I know
no, it's not.
I know what's best for the world, guys. So I'm going to install what I think is best.
I don't see when I read that solicit. I don't see it as like I know what's best. I think it's in his struggle with what do I do with this because of what happened in the past. He doesn't know what he's going to do with the power. That's what I read into it because if you read the whole run, he very much is. He doesn't know what he's very undecided. Doesn't want to make the same old mistakes. That's what Hellcat represents because Hellcat's made mistakes too.
But he's going to do it again.
We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know.
But I'm calling it. It's going to happen again.
But you don't know for sure. So you can't call. You can call it, but right now we don't know for sure.
Okay, so what's going to happen if it does happen again?
Who knows? I don't know. I'm having again. I don't know.
I love how Zach's just tapped the fuck out. Like he doesn't even care.
Just do your thing, Zach. I'm done. I'm out.
All right. No. All right. So no, I mean like. This is interesting debate, but I'm like, is it Spider-Man related? So
can you
it is. He's Iron Boy. He's Iron Boy. Remember?
Stop.
You're blocked. Right. I'm removing you from the stream. You're out. Bye.
All right. Back. All right. So, all right. Final segment of the episode. I do want to talk about the coming year because this is obviously our first episode of 2022. So what are my goals? I want to try to get at least an average of 2 episodes a month for this show, if not more, out between now and the end of the year, an average of 2. That's number 1. Number 2, I want to start the slot debates for our Patreon subscribers. Patreon.com/Spideydude Network is going to be me. It's going to be Paul, and Adam, I think, is going to moderate that with us. So,
and I'll be producing behind the scenes.
Yeah, Yeezus Deletus will be, working some magic.
I'll be doing my tech shit.
I'm kind of debating on whether or not to make this announcement, but I'm working on. Got to make some things line up.
Big boy project.
Okay,
big boy project.
If it's the one thing you told us today,
I'm gonna wait.
Save that. Yeah, save that for a couple weeks.
So in a couple weeks I'll be able to reveal that. I'm trying to dot some I's, cross some T's, but something very exciting is happening. An interview in particular. Want to get more interviews for the show. I want to get Forgotten Era off the ground, but there's a couple of things I want to try to line up, and if I get a firm no, then I move on. But until I get the firm, thumbs up or thumbs down on it, I don't want to. I don't want to over shoot my shot until it's there. ASM Classics this spring will start. Looking like it's going to be February. Season 2. More Make Mine Mayday, of course, with Kelly. I don't know if we're going to be able to do a weekly schedule like we were doing in the earlier days. I just feel like that everybody's so busy. But yeah, I just want to continue making growing the channel, getting some of our legacy shows here on YouTube. We're working on the early parts of a site redesign, so that's going to be something that's going to be happening this year. Year 24 of Spidey-Dude.com is coming this June, so we'll have that. I don't know if we're going to be taking as big of a hiatus in June as we did before, because things have obviously fundamentally changed for me. But our goal is to get those things off the ground. Want to do the commentaries. Want to do these special episodes like the Marvel Legends episode next week. So we got a lot of things we want to do. I'm highly So Radiac asked a question, and maybe too early to call it, but what are your 2022 expectations for Spider-Man?
Ooh, McNulty has a cool theory.
It's a way too early right now. Way too early to talk about expectations. That's a whole podcast series of itself.
I'll say this just as a bit of a tease. One, they're going to make a big deal about the 60th. It's going to happen.
They're gonna
have to.
They're gonna make.
I think
they're gonna make a
starting-
They're gonna make a $10 900 with 50 different variants. They're gonna make a shit ton of cash.
900 is going to be a big deal. Probably in June, maybe August, July or August.
I think it's June. I think it'll come out in June. If they
So,
do
yeah,
twice a month, it'll probably be June.
Yeah, so June-ish. This summer it'll be 900. My prediction on the Marvel Legends side is that the HasLab will be one of two things: Fing Fang Foom, or it'll be something Spidey related. I don't know what that would be. The only thing I can think of is either the Spider Slayers, like the 90s show Spider Slayers,
Be gone, bot.
or either that or maybe the Daily Bugle as like a playset type thing.
Fing Fang Foom. That'll make people throw some money.
Yeah,
I might
I think
consider that.
I'm leaning towards Fing Fang Foom just because the Marvel Legends HasLabs have tended to be redesigns of the of like a lot of they've been trying to do between deluxe figures and the HasLabs. They've been trying to redo a lot of those Build-A-Figures that a lot of people loved, like MODOK, for example, on that redesign of the classic Build-A-Figure, and then of course the Sentinel and the Galactus are two ones that were highly sought after Build-A-Figures from the Toy Biz days. Fing Fang Foom is the third one that I would of that trilogy that maybe an Ant-Man or Giant Man. That would be something that I could see happening, a classic Giant Man. But if they're going to go like Avengers route, but if they're doing Shield, maybe a Shield helicarrier, I don't know. Like those are like my four, theories on that. Particularly because they got the Shield Army Builder set that they just released through Hasbro Pulse. So I've got a lot of predictions on the Marvel Legends side, but that's kind of my thought. If they're going to lean into the 60th anniversary, because last year with the Galactus it was all about BAMs, it's Fantastic Four, and then before that it's been X-Men. So all the Fox related characters that they couldn't really dive into, for a long time, and they've been making up for lost time. The Legends team, I just hope that there will be something Spider-Man related for the HasLab, because that would make me really want to shell out my money, more so than as much so as the previous two HasLabs. So I'm really optimistic about this year. I'm hoping that we'll get San Diego Comic-Con, the normal San Diego Comic-Con. Yes, they did the one in November this year, but it wasn't as big of a deal, and that made me very sad. I don't know if they're going to do Toy Fair. New York Comic Con may be a thing. It's looking like maybe Omicron will peter out this spring, hopefully, knock on wood. Because we've already seen it hit its peak in other parts of the world. So, well, I mean, just looking at the data in South Africa and the UK in particular, they seem to be on the downhill slide of it. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason I'm saying that. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. But I'd love to see those things happen. I'd love to see. I know that you're highly optimistic about the Spider-Man marriage. 900 plus anniversary plus an very odds lit for collected gallery edition of the wedding is too much for me not to wonder.
That's true.
Don't put your eggs in that basket, Buckaroo.
Listen, I will be one of those guys that I will believe that when I see it. I believe it when I see it. If it happens, great. Yes,
You'll see it soon. See ya.
Okay.
So, but it's one of those things. MJ is going to be a big player, I think, this year. I just think that with the popularity of Zendaya in the film and the way that the audiences have responded on the Marvel Legends side, I honestly 100% think there will be either a No Way Home second wave with the characters that returned. Those guys in that movie. I think it's just too easy to not do it. I'm so optimistic. It's such a good time to be a Spider-Man fan. I mean, seriously, this is a great time to be a Spider-Man fan. Is Beyond as good as Spencer in his heyday? Not necessarily. It's been good, but it's not been I gotta read it every week type of hype for me. But Ben Reilly, I think, is in far better hands than I ever anticipated him being in, and I think as a character, by the end of this arc, it's going to be very, very good. So I'm highly optimistic for the first quarter. I think the summer is going to be fascinating. We haven't even talked about the speculation about Hickman and Machado, but we can kind of talk about that maybe more next episode when we have everybody on from the beginning. But the next regular comic episode. So, but yeah, I mean that's where I'm at, guys. Any further elaboration, and then we'll kind of start wrapping the show up.
Yeah.
More Paco Medina on the book.
Absolutely.
That's what I want.
I think they've
yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
I think they've got their art team set. They just need a good writer out of their stable.
I don't think. Just really quickly, I don't think Bachalo is going to be the main artist.
No,
I think he's gonna do a few issues and then he'll bow out.
And to shoot the rumor, regardless of your feelings on Hickman, I know Paul and I are very different on them. I don't think he's going to be the main writer. This Spider-Man's way too small in scale for a writer like Hickman.
Yeah, but I would listen. I didn't dislike his Spidey
in Avengers.
When he wrote him, or when he wrote him in.
Oh, in Future Foundation. Sorry.
In Future Foundation, yeah, I actually liked his characterization of Peter quite a bit.
Well, yeah, but I can't see him like focusing in on that and like making that.
It would be really fascinating for him to come in and do like an epic, because I mean he does epic storytelling and
maybe I'm just tired of epics
in the Spidey world.
Maybe I'm just tired of epic Spider-Man stuff.
I'm ready for some grounded.
Yeah,
Spidey.
I want working class Peter.
Yeah, that's what the next movie should be. That's what the comic should focus on after Ben. We just did Back to Basics, 3 years ago, but I think we need to go back to basics with like no like huge stakes, no like Mephisto teasing,
no supernatural elements.
Yeah, like I think we've done enough. I think we've done enough supernatural stuff for a while. I think we need to kind of ground it a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Let's just get some good stories. I don't care if they're supernatural, street level.
That's fair.
Give me some good stories, and if they're good, they're good.
If not, we'll talk later.
Regardless, we will be here to cover it.
Yes,
on the Spidey
yes.
Experience.
And you know what? I want really quickly. Someone said it's a great time to be a Spider-Man fan. I don't remember a time where it wasn't being a good time to be a Spider-Man fan, unless it was the Clone Saga. But that's a whole different story.
2007.
But see, I would even. Oh yeah, 2007 was pretty brutal. Come on.
I don't think it was that bad.
I know. We'll get into that in the debates, but man, that was rough.
Just as Spider-Man 3 was coming around and brand new day.
You know what? I went back and I listened to my review of Spider-Man 3 on Spider-Man Crawl Space when I was on there.
I'm not talking about just Spider-Man 3. I'm thinking of the bigger picture.
I was so much. I was so. Listening to myself back then, I was not nearly as harsh on Spider-Man 3 as it is turned out to be. It's so cool to just completely dog on it. There's some goofy elements. It is really weird going back and watching like the Raimi films, and I think we're gonna have to do a commentary on that this year too. I think we need to do a whole series of doing a commentary on all the films. Maybe we'll do that as a Patreon exclusive as well. So, but yeah, no, it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time. We're gonna have a lot of content coming your way as we move forward. So, God, be gone, bots. Good lord, we are getting killed today with the bots. All right, so if you want to check out more of Paul, you can always check him out at the Comic Binge YouTube channel, at Herman22 on Twitter. Read More Comics is the hashtag he uses all the time. So check out the Comic Binge YouTube channel. Make My Mayday is going to be Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we will be covering the next several issues of Spider-Girl on the next episode. It will be next Thursday. For those of you watching us live or watching the live stream, that is going to be Thursday the 13th, lucky 13. Next week we're going to be doing I've just decided we're going to be doing the Marvel Legends episode. We'll be talking about it, about the history of Marvel Legends. We'll be talking about what we've seen, what we like, what we don't like. I am down for it. Everybody, if you guys want to watch it, just let us know in the comments. Speaking of letting us know in the comments, be sure to give us a like, a share, and a subscribe if you're watching us on other platforms besides YouTube. YouTube.com/Spideydude Radio Network is our URL. Spidey-dude.com is our website. You can always go there. At Spideydude Radio on Twitter. At Spideydude Network on Facebook. So with that, I will start wrapping the episode up there. Neil, you want to throw up the card?
Oh yeah, there you go.
So once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're listening to us on the audio version of the episode, thank you for your participation. Thank you for those that participated tonight in our live stream chat. If you want to be part of the conversation and you want to give your thoughts on the episode, you can always leave us a voicemail at 818-925-6631. That's 818-925-6631. Be sure to state your name and what you're calling, what show you're calling about, because it's the voicemail line for the entire radio network. Of course, you can find us on YouTube at Spideydude Radio Network, as I mentioned. Facebook at Spideydude Network, as well as Instagram. Thank you for that. So, big thanks again to our Patreon subscribers, Vinkman, Scott, Jurgen, and Greg. You guys certainly have done a lot to help out with the show. We're going to get you some more goodies coming to you very, very soon, exclusive to you guys. Once again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I want to thank again Neil Bogenreiter, Paul, and Adam for their participation on the show tonight. And we will see you guys here on the Spideydude Experience next week here on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.